Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the USPBL YouTube channel. My name is Rich Borland, and in just a moment, my partner for the night, Mr. Dom Santina, will join me. We are coming off one of the longer weekends of the summer, where we totaled 6 games from Thursday to Monday, and in that span, the Diamond Hoppers and the Woolly Mammoths stole the show as both teams went 3-0 over the weekend. The two teams that each have a USPBL championship under their belt have performed the worst thus far in 2018. Not sure if it's a Beaver hangover or a unicorn hoax, but both teams have not lived up to their managers' expectations thus far. Both teams currently sit at a 3-5 record, but are looking to get out of that early season funk. Beavers have lost 5 straight since starting off 3-0, and as for the Unicorns, they have lost 4 out of their last 5. Granted, it is still early in the season, but as these two teams are meeting for just the second time this year, this means there is still time to improve, and the only thing that you want to make sure of as managers is that you don't let the losing mindset travel from game to game, because then it will only plummet into a catastrophic mess. In the first meeting between these two teams, the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers lost to the Utica Unicorns by a score of 7-5. The winning pitcher in that game was, in fact, Jesse Stinnett, and then Tyler Schwann's got the save. On the other end for the Beavers, Ross Vance got the loss, even though he only pitched 1/3 of an inning. He allowed 3 runs on no hits and did have a walk, and the ERA going all the way up to 15.43 for Mr. Vance. So he'll hopefully get that ERA down here as we go along in today's matchup. But as we look on to today's festivities, it is Irish American Heritage Night at the ballpark as a part of our Dave & Buster's Thirsty Thursday nights. $2 12-ounce Budweiser, Bud Light, and wine products, as it is also $5 craft beer specials all night long. Not only that, but it's also Utica night at the ballpark. Any resident of Utica receives 2 free grandstand seats to tonight's game, courtesy of the city of Utica. So if any Utica listeners are tuned in already, make your way to the ballpark, and you can get 2 free tickets to come on out and see the action live and in person. But getting back to the action on the field, we have 2 pitchers facing off that will each look to earn their first win of the season. It will be Gio Abreu of the Unicorns and Mark Siler of the Beavers. On the season, Abreu has 3 starts under his belt, but has only thrown 11 innings. In his time this season, he's allowed 7 earned runs on 11 hits. A positive note for Abreu is that he's thrown 17 strikeouts to just 4 walks. And then as for his counterpart, Mark Siler, he's maintained a 4.66 ERA through his first 2 starts. He's allowed 5 earned runs on 7 hits and 6 walks to 5 strikeouts. Now, to dive into this pitching matchup a little bit more, I'll send it over to my broadcasting partner for tonight's festivities, Mr. Dominic Santina. Dominic, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Rich. Glad to be on tonight. And tonight we do have a good matchup, and it's 2 former minor league pitchers, as Mark Siler spent some time. He's with the Yankees in rookie ball and single A short in 2015 and 2017. He's a 6'3" right-handed pitcher coming in at about 195 out of San Diego State University. While in the minors for the Yankees, he posted a 5.69 ERA in 29 appearances, including 3 saves. He pitched 49 innings, allowing 51 hits, 39 runs. 31 of them were earned, 19 walks, and 31 strikeouts. So he's going to give you some innings, but he's going to give up some hits. He's going to be knocked around the ballpark a little bit, but he's going to get you some strikeouts as well. If we look at Gio Abreu of the Utica Unicorns, he also was a minor league pitcher for a couple years back in 2014 and 2015, playing some rookie ball for the Texas Rangers organization. He had a little higher ERA, 6.6 in 6 starts, 45 innings pitched, so not – he said he's only got, 11 this season so far, so he's not going to go long into games. He let up 56 hits, 36 runs, 33 of them were earned, 28 walks, but then again, 41 strikeouts. So that walk to a strikeout ratio pretty well in the favor of strikeouts.
Well, I like what I heard right there. Both pitchers sort of the same repertoire as far as pitches go. Mark Siler will offer fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, and then Gio Abreu on the other end's got a fast and a curveball that he mixes a lot together, and he's also got a changeup and a sinker that he'll mix in as well. Mention that it is Irish Heritage Night at the ballpark. It looks like we're just about ready to get underway with the anthem. I believe that we'll be playing both the Irish and the American anthem. So stick around with us, and when we come back, we will have first pitch here from Jimmy John's Field on this last day of May of the 2018 calendar year. So there are your anthems, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Dom Santina and Rich Borland on the call here with you. It'll be Gio Abreu of the Unicorns and Mark Siler of the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Starting on the bump here tonight for the home team of the Unicorns, it'll be Abreu. If you're just joining us, his numbers throughout the season thus far, Abreu an 0-1 record through 3 starts. He's got a 5.73 ERA. In those 3 games, he's got 11 innings under his belt. He's allowed 7 earned runs on 11 hits, and then his strong suit with his numbers thus far this season, just 4 walks to 17 strikeouts. And Dominic, do you want to run down through this lineup for the Beavers, starting with the right fielder, Mr. 12, Ryan Smith?
Yeah, we're going to leading off the order is going to be number 12, Ryan Smith. He's going to be playing right field today. He'll be followed up by number 8, Rob Poller. He'll be playing second base. In the third spot's number 25, Jack Cranek. He's going to be playing first, followed by number 18, Christian Helzel. He'll be the third baseman and batting cleanup, followed by number 23, Adam Gauthier. He'll be catching. Number 11, Skylar Mikado will be playing short. Number 9, Hunter Wood will be your DH. Number 15, James Batley will be in center. And number 5, Daniel Oliveri will be in left.
So that is your starting lineup for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers as we're about ready for first pitch. Let's run the defense that'll be playing behind Mr. Abreu here for tonight's game. From left to right in the outfield, number 9 in left, Carter Grote. In center field, number 10, Justin Erlinson. Over in right is number 2, Spencer Ibarra. And then in the infield dirt as we speak, over at the hot corner, number 22, Brandon Larkin Guilfoyle. At shortstop, number 13, Adrian Guzman. Over at second, number 4, Dylan Sprague. And then over at first base, number 6, Dan Ward. Behind the dish as a part of the battery team here for the Unicorns is number 8, the catcher, Jimmy Latona. First pitch underway here in Utica, 7:03 p.m. It's about 84 degrees here at the ballpark. Not a lot of sun showing as it's starting to set, but still great baseball weather we have here on tap this evening as it's Irish American Heritage Night at the ballpark. Ryan Smith, the leadoff batter for the Beavers, looks at a couple different pitches to begin his night. One for a strike, one for a ball. Count even at 1-1. Fastball in on the hands, swung on and missed. Count quickly going to 0-2. Ryan Smith, in his last 12 at-bats, he's got 4 hits, 2 of them being home runs. So a hot bat at the plate, part of the reason he is up at the top of this Birmingham Bloomfield order. But as far as the team goes, Beavers losers of their last 5 since starting the season out 3-0. Breaking ball outside corner looked to be a curveball from Abreu. That one looked good from up here, but just missed. Abreu, the windup, the pitch, fastball missing high and away. Count officially full on the batter, Ryan Smith.
Looks like he's trying to set Smith up on the outside. Maybe he'll try to come back inside here. He got that fastball on the inside hands on 1-1 as that one's fouled back.
Smith staying alive in the at-bat, trying to have that 2-strike approach. If anything's close, you realize it a little late maybe, foul it off and get another opportunity to go here, and that's exactly what he's done just right now. Smith, like we mentioned, the 2 home runs on the season, good enough to lead this Birmingham Bloomfield team. Payoff pitch, it's hit high, but it'll stay in the park. Out there to dead center field, Justin Erlinson stands in there. He makes the catch for out number 1 with ease. And speaking of center field, I just want to note, what the USPBL accomplished last weekend. We had Drew Kitson, the starting center fielder for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, make it on the top 10 plays of SportsCenter with that jumping, leaping catch that robbed Spencer Ibarra of a home run last weekend. And that was quite the scene, and we're excited to see maybe another opportunity to get on SportsCenter here this weekend.
Oh, exactly. And, coming into Sunday, we had a doubleheader. We knew it was going to be a little bit longer of a day, and that was exactly the thing everybody wanted to see Sunday morning, is coming in here and seeing that play on the billboard. And it kind of gave this ballpark a little bit more energy and helped us carry through that doubleheader with that first.
Yeah, Drew Kitson probably getting his phone blown up over the weekend, and Woolly Mammoths, as well as the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, both winners of all 3 of their games over the weekend. Like we mentioned, these other 2 teams here on the diamond tonight, pretty much on the opposite end of the spectrum, with the Unicorns losing 4 out of their last 5, and the Beavers with that 5-game losing streak coming into play tonight. Whoever wins this game, you hope their season starts to turn around a little bit, but still just a small sample size so far through these first 8 games for these 2 teams. Meanwhile, Rob Pauler standing in from the left side. He's worked himself into a 3-1 count. He is 4 of his last 16 with a home run, 2 RBIs to his credit. On the season, though, batting just 172, trying to get that total up. He might have it here, a line drive out to right field, but right at the right fielder, Spencer Ibarra, who barely has to move to record out number 2. So now Jack Cranek stands in here and from the left side, and what a story Jack Cranek has been thus far here in 2018. Not only does he lead this team in 3 offensive categories, a 393 average, 11 hits, 5 RBIs in his time thus far this season. Through 8 games, he's got an 8-game hitting streak. What a way to start the year for the left-hander out of Ortonville, Michigan, hometown kid.
Well, looking at that, I look back at his stats last year where he played in the Frontier League for the Gateway Grizzlies. He was only batting .215, had 35 hits, 3 of those doubles, 4 homers, and only 11 RBIs in 51 games. And look at the start he's got off to here in just 8.
It goes to show what the training here at the USPBL can do. Jack Cranek taking full advantage, and he will not be able to get a hit in this plate appearance. He gets a little bit of him hit with that baseball, and he'll head down to first base with the 2-out hit by pitch. So now Christian Helzel stands in for this Birmingham Bloomfield team. Helzel on the season batting .280. He had batted over .300 in 2017 with these Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. .306 to be exact. That was through 62 games, or 62 at-bats last season in 16 games with the Beavers, as he helped them win a championship. But as far as this season goes, 7 hits and 25 at-bats through the first 8 games here with the Beavers. No home runs to his credit yet, but an opportunity as the man from Altoona, PA, tries to keep the Beavers alive here in the top half of the first inning. Abreu thrown 2 pitches to Helzel to begin this at-bat. 1 for a ball, 1 for a strike.
Well, you know, I did some digging on Helzel, and interesting to find out, he played at Penn State University, but he even had 3 appearances out of the bullpen, pitching 3 innings, allowing 2 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts.
So a guy who can play both sides of the field, and, you know, as the talent level increases, sometimes guys who could do both their entire careers, as Cranek gets to second base on that wild pitch from Abreu. You know, you get to the more tough competition, you usually lean towards one side, and then there's, of course, guys like Shohei Ohtani, and when I say there's guys like him, I solely mean Babe Ruth. I mean, the stuff that we're seeing out of him, it's been incredible, even though the Tigers put him in the loss column last night. Yeah, that was quite the scene. We'll talk a little bit more about something that happened in the Tigers game last night as this game goes along. And meanwhile, Helzel tried to sit on that 2-1 curveball out of the hand of Abreu. He could not wait long enough, and because of it, he hits a line drive down that left field line, but fairly foul.
Just a little bit.
Cranek out there at second base. He reached on the hit by pitch thrown by Abreu after he recorded 2 flyouts. The 2-2 offer swung on, chopped over to the second base side. A bouncer that almost got over the head of Dylan Sprague. He ends up rallying it, I should say, and then throwing it over to first to Dan Ward for the 3rd and final out. So the Beavers in the top half of the first get a base runner, but nothing more. We head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Right into the action we go. Starting pitcher on the mound for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. It's the man out of Agora Hills, California, number 21, Mark Siler. Siler in his third game with the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. He's got a 4.66 ERA through his first 2 starts. In 9.2 innings, he's allowed 5 earned runs on 7 hits. He's got 6 walks against him, but 5 strikeouts for him. He starts off Spencer Ibarra with a couple of pitches, 1 for a ball, 1 for a strike. Ibarra on the season for the Unicorns, leading this team in home runs and RBIs. He hits a big fly ball out to right field. It might carry with the wind at the wall. It's Mr. Ryan Smith, and he will not be able to make the catch. Off the hill and back onto the diamond. That is the 3rd home run of the season for Spencer Ibarra. Good enough for the league lead.
Well, Rich, you saw it right there. You could see the right fielder, Ryan Smith. As soon as that ball was hit, it looked like it was up in the air, just a little high. But Smith, if you watched him going back on that ball, was kind of drifting, and then, he went right to the wall, found it, and he knew his only play on it was going to be leap for it, and it was way over his head onto the hill out there and right. Yeah,
Ibarra with a home run in the game on Monday against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers was the only run of the game that they had put across, so a bright spot for the Unicorns. Ibarra having a good job in these last 2 games. And now Adrian Guzman stands in. Guzman on the season. He's done really well defensively for the Unicorns at the shortstop position. But as far as offense goes, he's batting .250 on the year through the first 8 games here with these Unicorns. Fastball in the dirt. Already Guzman looking at 3 straight pitches as Siler is working quick here in the count.
Well, and with the home run last at bat, I think he let him swing away here.
So he elects to hold off on the 3-0. Strike called by the home plate umpire, Stuart Hall. His partner for the night, Mr. Rod Lothian. Shocked to see Gary Wagenschutz with the night off. He's been a part of every single game here at the USPBL thus far through the first 3 weekends. And how about this job here from Mark Siler? Starts off Guzman with a 3-0 count, and now he's all the way back into a full count, but a tough start here for Siler. If you're the Beavers, you'd love to see him retire Guzman. Payoff pitch, fouled off, goes over to the left side, out of play, out of the reach of manager Mr. Jim Essien, as Guzman continuing to work here.
Well, and I said that I thought maybe Guzman was going to be swinging on 3-0, but he definitely was looking to do some damage on 3-1, just missed the pitch there, and now he's got a battle to stay alive here.
That ball inside, dropped by the catcher, Adam Gauthier. Either way, a base on balls is recorded for Adrian Guzman. A leadoff homer and a no-out walk get the Unicorns riding here. And got to imagine the thoughts, the mind of Chris Newell, manager of this Birmingham Bloomfield Beaver team. Of course, crown champions last year in 2017. Started off the year 3-0, but since then, with the 5-game losing streak and now already down here to the Unicorns to begin this ball game in the home half of the first, sort of an uncomfortable and unfamiliar situation for these guys.
Well, yeah, and this is the last guy, one of the last guys you want to see in this lineup, Dan Ward. He played at Tennessee Wesleyan University, and he led the team. He had a major year last year. Sorry, not leading the team. He hit 21 home runs in 2017 and had 71 RBIs throughout his career, but 59 of them coming last year.
Wow. I mean, talk about rising to the occasion. Dan Ward trying to keep the Unicorns going here in this home half of the first. Already up 1-0, courtesy of the solo shot that Spencer Ibarra had started them off with here in the home half of the first. Ball in the dirt. Looked like a fastball, speed-wise at least. Could have been that slider, but the 0-2 pitch nowhere near the zone. Dan Ward holds off, stays alive in the count, at least for now. Ward leading the team with a .355 average thus far. He's got 11 hits to his credit. He has just been on a tear to start this season, and a reason he's batting in this 3-hole. Meanwhile, Guzman getting kept tabbed over there at first base as Siler tosses over there. Guzman on the season, no stolen bases to his credit just yet. But Siler is making his presence known over there at first base.
Definitely think he's trying to keep the double play in order here, especially with getting roughed up first at bat. That's not how you want to start your game out to begin with, letting up a home run first batter. And
breaking ball hangs over the plate, ends up just falling foul right near that third base bag. So liking what we're seeing out of this at bat from Ward. Siler's doing a good job to not give Ward too much of the baseball over the plate. So a good contested battle here so far. Got to have a winner here shortly. Man out of Garfield Heights, Ohio, trying to continue his great season thus far for the Unicorns. Ground ball up the middle, chopped to the pitcher on the bump. Siler turns from pitcher to fielder, records the out at first, but Guzman moves into scoring position here with one out. So you just heard our PA announcer, Mr. John Grab, announce the next batter in the lineup, Mr. Brandon Larkin Guilfoyle, your 1-800-Hanson's hitter of the game. And if he gets a base knock, a lucky fan will get to report to guest services for a prize. Guilfoyle having a good season thus far at the plate for these Unicorns as he stands in from the left side against Siler. Siler, first pitch offer, fastball, outside corner. Guilfoyle fouling it off, but in his second season here with the Unicorns, back in 2017, he batted just 235 at-bats through 11 games, and through the first 5 games here, he is just 3 of 17, but those 3 hits, all singles on the year. Looking for his first extra base hit is Larkin Guilfoyle. He can't do anything with the 0-1 offer except foul it off out of play. So Siler's worked ahead in the count here against the left-hander, but with that man on second base, you still got to be careful and not give Larkin Guilfoyle anything too comfortable up at the plate.
Well, Siler's already thrown quite a few pitches, especially with that battle with Dan Ward. We'll see if he comes in attack mode here and starts attacking the hitter. If, you know, against Dan Ward, he kind of tried to get him to chase a little bit. We'll see if Siler goes after him or tries to bait him outside.
Right down Broadway, Larkin Guilfoyle was expecting everything else, and he's completely frozen on the 0-2 offer from Siler. 2 outs here now, back-to-back outs for Siler after allowing the leadoff home run to Ibarra and then the walk to Guzman. But now a big trouble brewing. Nico Lolio standing in here for the Unicorns. There is that base open at first, though. This guy knows how to put him out far.
And I think Siler had no option but to attack Guilfoyle there because he knows Nico's coming on deck. And if you can eliminate anyone else that's on base with the chance that Nico connects with one, I'd take it.
Yeah, Lolio on the season here in 2018. He's 5 of 15. So batting .333 on the mark in his 8th game here with the Unicorns. Fastball missing outside. Great eye there from Lolio to bring the count to 2-0. And if you're Siler here, down in the count 2-0, you got plenty to work with. But if I'm Lolio here, I'm expecting the fastball. Just got to figure out where.
If I'm Siler, I'm going to be careful. I might go a little off speed here. And especially if he gets down 3-0, which it's going to be. We saw last week they just intentionally passed Nico. Not going to give him that fastball on 3-0.
Yeah, that 2-0 pitch was, in fact, a breaking ball. You were exactly right, Dom. But Lolio doing a good job of holding off on it. Now the count 3-0. See if he's given the green light. He's not. Fastball misses high. Lolio has to do absolutely nothing with the bat. That's the second walk of the inning for Siler. Mentioned coming into play today, through 2 starts, he had 5 strikeouts and 6 walks. So walks definitely part of Siler's battery, and, you know, that's clearly not a strong suit. You try your best to throw no walks as a pitcher out there on the bump, but Siler dealing with some already, and it looks like that first walk of the game is going to come in and around to score. Adrian Guzman rounding in from third, comes in to score from second. There was a little bobble out there in left field from Daniel Oliveri, but got to imagine Guzman was probably going to score either way. So an RBI base knock for Jimmy Latona gives the Unicorns the 2-0 lead here in the home half of the first.
On a good job by Latona there, coming up, first pitch swinging, knowing that Siler struggled with his command a little bit, saw a first pitch, went with it, and drove it into left field and with an RBI.
Textbook stuff right there. Play it where they ain't. And Jimmy Latona is now on over there at first base. He gives way to Carter Grote, the starting left fielder for the Unicorns. He looks at called strike 1 to begin this at-bat. Grote on the season, the man out of South Park, PA. He's got 6 hits and 36 at-bats, just a 167 average. Grote had started the season off right around the top of the lineup, but the numbers have fallen, and so has the spot in the starting lineup, but he's still in there. He pops up over there to the second baseman, Rob Poller, for the third and final out. We head to the top of the second inning. Unicorns out in front 2-0. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland alongside Dom Santina here with you. Got Brandon Rothenberg up in the booth helping out with score. Adam Gauthier, meanwhile, standing in to lead things off for the Beavers. It'll be 5-6-7 to start off this second inning. Gio Abreu coming into the inning with 21 pitches, 11 of them for strikes, so a good ratio, at least for now. But Gauthier starting this one off on a 1-1 count. Gauthier on the season, 4 of 12 in 4 games. He hasn't played in every single game here for this Birmingham Bloomfield team. He's split some time behind the dish with Hunter Wood, who's the designated hitter that's due up after the on-deck man, Skyler Mercado. Gauthier, meanwhile, on the 1-2 pitch, looks at a ball missing. Count evens up at 2-2, but the man out of Naples, Florida, trying to get the Beavers going here in this top half of the second inning. And it's been a long time since this Beaver team had a lead in a game. Just overall, the demeanor of this team, it's been well known throughout the first two seasons that they are the team to beat, but they have just struggled in all facets of the game in the last 5 games or so. And Gauthier on the 2-2 pitch hits a fly ball out there to right for out number 1. Ibarra makes that one with ease, and now Skylar Mercado stands in from the right side.
Like you said, it might be a little bit of a championship hangover for these Beavers, struggling a little bit to start off. But if you're Abreu, you got to love it. Your team gives you 2 runs in the first inning, goes deep into the order, and now you're pitching with a little bit of confidence here in the second.
Can't ask for much more than that as Mercado looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Mercado, the man out of the Bronx, New York, and South Carolina Aiken, looks at the second straight pitch. This one for ball 2 now. But Mercado on the season, 5 hits and 27 at-bats through the first 8 games with the Beavers. Just 1 RBI, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts. Does have a stolen base to his credit. And now the 2-0 pitch, fastball, missing high and up, I should say. High up, you name it. It wasn't a strike. Mercado ahead here in the count, 3-0. 3-0 pitch from Abreu. Fastball nowhere near. That one missing inside. So a 1-out walk for Mercado puts a base runner on for the Beavers in this top half of the second inning. And Hunter Wood strides to the plate. So we hadn't talked about this pregame at all, Dominic, and hadn't had the opportunity to because we were working so hard pregame. But me and some of the other broadcasting interns throughout the year, we've actually done a pick the stick like the FS Detroit crew does.
Yeah.
And I know we've already had some guys up at the plate, so let's do a little fun with some of the guys who haven't batted so far. There haven't been a lot. Hunter Wood, James Batley, Daniel Oliveri, Dylan Sprague, Justin Erlinson, the only guys without an at-bat here today. Quickly, out of those 5 guys, take your pick, and I'll pick somebody on the other team.
Picking Erlinson.
Going with Erlinson, the number 9 hitter for the Unicorns, which means I'm going to take somebody on the Beavers. In between Wood, Batley, and Oliveri, you know what? Right on cue. I'm going to take Wood here as he looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Daniel Oliveri, familiar face in the USPBL. He's only got 1 hit through his first 8 games. And then James Batley, who started off this season at the top of the lineup because of his speed. He's not done as much better as Oliveri either this year. So I'm going to stick with Wood, who is not doing all that great via numbers, but you know, we're gonna take the luck here as he's worked the count now 1-1. But Wood, the batter out of Mount Washington, Kentucky, standing in here, swings and misses at the 1-1 pitch. With the Beavers last year, he had a just 181 average in 72 at-bats. He was 13 of 72 in those 23 games, but did have a hit in the playoffs.
Well, he's been struggling of late because in college, when he went to Western Kentucky University, he was batting .313, 61 hits, 36 RBIs, couple doubles, couple triples, and 9 homers. So
my pick the stick for the night, not starting out on the right foot. Wood goes down on the 1-2 pitch looking. So first strikeout of the night goes to Wood. Abreu will now face off against Mr. James Batley.
I think that counts negative for you, right?
Yeah, it does. We haven't figured out exactly a point system yet, but as for right now, we're kind of between the 2 broadcasters, picking 2 guys, and then whoever in the end has the better night, we're letting them be the victor.
I got you.
But as the season goes along, maybe we'll get a little bit more into the sabermetrics, and we'll figure that out. But Batley standing in here from the left side, ahead in the count here, 1-0. Fouls off that 1-0 offer right off of his leg there. Strands foul to the left side. But Batley, like I mentioned, struggling early on here in this season at the plate. Through his first 7 games, he's got 3 hits and 24 at-bats. Does have 4 walks, 10 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases to his credit. That 1-1 pitch misses the zone high. And then over there at first base, Mr. Skyler Mercado on the season does have 1 stolen base to his credit. So keep tabs on him if you're Mr. Abreu.
Well, go ahead.
2-1 pitch, fouled off. Continue.
Batley, even in college when he was at University of Illinois Springfield, still didn't have that consistent of a batting average. .216, he had 97 at-bats with only 21 hits. So he was struggling even a little bit back in the college days as well.
So the bat might not be the strong suit. We've definitely seen him run down fly balls in the outfield here at Jimmy John's Field throughout this season so far, but definitely trying to turn it around at the plate. You saw Gio Abreu try and ring up Batley all on his own after he delivered that pitch. He disagrees with the home plate umpire, Mr. Stuart Hall. So the count is rung full. There are 2 outs on the board. Mercado, of course, will be in motion as soon as this pitch is delivered. Abreu kicks up, comes home with it. Fastball misses the zone high, and Batley will get his 2-out walk and bring runners to first and second. So throughout this baseball game so far, we've seen 2 hits, the home run from Ibarra that led off the home half of the first, and then Jimmy Latona had the RBI single that drove in Adrian Guzman. But story of the night so far, 2 walks for Siler in the first frame, and throughout the first inning and 2/3, Abreu with a hit by pitch, and now 2 walks here in this top of the second inning. Still 2 outs on the board. Could escape without any damage being done, but not if Daniel Oliveri has anything to say about it. He does swing and miss at the first pitch he sees. Oliveri, the left fielder here this evening, the man out of Miami, Florida. Started with the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers in 2017 as he looks at a ball in the dirt to even the count up at 1-1, but Oliveri in 2017 started his first 13 games with the Beavers, had a .500 average with 7 hits out of 14 at-bats, and then was actually not traded but moved to the Diamond Hoppers for 2 games where he had a hit and 3 at-bats, and then was back on the Beavers for the playoffs in 2017. Sort of a unique situation. Oliveri getting flip-flopped through a couple different teams in 2017, but here so far in the 2018 season, 4 hits and 26 at-bats with a .154 batting average. Trying to drive in Skyler Mercado, both the guys on the base pass, Mercado and Batley with tons of speed. So if you're Oliveri, you just need a base knock and you'll at least score 1. But the 1-2 pitch is fouled off and out of play.
Well, and you have to wonder if he was a little bit of a spark to help that championship run. As he said, he came back right before the playoffs. And batting .500 on the season, that's pretty good.
Yeah, can't complain with those numbers, but trying to put the Beavers on the board in the top half of the second inning is Oliveri, but the breaking ball from Abreu absolutely freezes Oliveri. There was nothing he was going to do about it, and Oliveri with 2 strikeouts in the inning take us to the home half of the second. Unicorns with the 2-0 lead. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland and Dominic Santina here with you. Dylan Sprague to start off the Unicorns in the home half of the second inning. Sprague on the season batting below 100. And part of the reason he's batting at the bottom of this lineup. Sprague, a familiar face here at Jimmy John's Field, though. On the career for Dylan Sprague, it's his second season with these Unicorns. And then he hits a ground ball over to the right side, and look at that. Finds a hole, and you can hear his teammates cheering him on. Guy was in a tough spot, but cracks a smile as he rounds first base. You like to see that. The man out of New York tipping his cap over to his teammates in the third base dugout. You like to see that, a guy turn something around, and who knows, maybe that'll keep things going here for the Unicorns, even though they already have the 2-0 lead.
Well, for sure. And sometimes you're in a slump like that, and all it takes is one to dribble through the infield like that in between the second base and first base hole there, and who knows, it could turn his whole season around.
And now your pick, the stick winner for the game, Mr. Santina. Mr. Justin Erlinson stands in. He looks at a ball to begin this plate appearance. Erlinson on the season, a man out of Utah Valley University, as he swings and misses at the 1-0 offer. In his second season with these Unicorns, last year joined the team. He had 12 games under his belt, 6 hits and 31 at-bats. And then this year, in 8 games, he's got 6 hits and 33 at-bats. So already more at-bats this season in 8 games than he had in 12 games last year. Looks at called strike 2 to bring the count to 1-2. Over there on first base is Sprague. Sprague on the season, no stolen bases just yet. Did have 1 stolen base last year with the Unicorns.
Well, and looking back at his college days at Fairleigh Dickinson, he had 16 stolen bases. So he does have some speed, and he will run from time to time. Just a matter of fact if they want to send him or keep him there stationed at first.
Meanwhile, Erlinson taking one off of the kneecap. Looks like the thighs. He's using his baseball bat as a roller. He's going to have to get that stretched out. Nice job of respect shown by the home plate umpire, Mr. Stuart Hall, walking that baseball out to Mark Siler, the man on the bump for the Beavers. Erlinson, even in the count against Siler, 2-2. The man on first is Sprague. Nobody out. 2-2 pitch. Fastball inside. Just missed right there. Good spot from Siler. Just couldn't get the call.
Seen quite a few full counts here early on already in this ball game from both teams. And as we mentioned in the pregame and kind of mentioned throughout the game, both these pitchers known for walking, and so they might get ahead, but trying to trick the batters with their off-speed pitches, all of a sudden find themselves down and end up walking batters.
Yeah, you can't afford another walk here if you're Siler. 2 in the first inning. Gave up the leadoff single here to Sprague, and now last thing you want to do to Erlinson is give up a walk, but the next worst thing happened right there, a hard ground ball. It would have been a routine ground out to Rob Pollard, second base, but he was shaded up the middle for the double play. And because of it, back-to-back singles have the Unicorns continuing their hot streak here to start this baseball game.
Didn't do much research, but I'll take that hit.
Yeah, the whole play it where they ain't, it's coming to fruition here for the Unicorns in this baseball game so far. You had Ibarra clearly put it where they ain't when he hit it over the fence. And then the single from Latona that drove in a run. And then the singles from Sprague and Erlinson here in this home half of the second. Have the Beavers' hairs on the back of their necks standing up as this one is continuing to motor for the Unicorns. Nobody out, 2 men on, already the 2-0 lead. You got to wonder how long Siler can continue into this night.
Well, not only that, now you turn it over the top of the order, and Spencer Ibarra, and he hit a 1-1 pitch into the hill in right field. So if you're Siler, you got to be a little careful here, especially with runners on. and might be a little nervous pitching to Ibarra here, and you can't walk him. You walk him, you load the bases.
Nowhere to put him. Got to attack him all on your own. He's already got 1 home run off you on the night. And you see with that 1-1 fastball, Mark Siler is trying to stay away from Ibarra as much as he possibly can. Last thing he wants to do is make a mistake and have it fall right over the heart of the zone, because then this one could spread wide open.
And he's got to be careful about being careful as well. He goes 3-1 here. Well, this one's going to be popped up.
It might stay in the field of play. The third baseman, Christian Helsel, trying to make a lining catch as he was laying all out, but could not end up with it. So Ibarra will stay alive at least for the moment, the count evening up at 2-2.
I was going to say, if he went down 3-1, he'd be in danger territory again with either a walk or having to give Ibarra something to hit there. Right now, if you're Siler, the best thing you're looking for is you're looking for a pitch down in the zone, probably fastball, about knee level, hoping it turns over right to the shortstop or second baseman. You get a double play, put a runner on third, but you got 2 outs.
Instead, a blooping single is going to fall into left. Oliveri picking it up, but it will not be in time to retire Dylan Sprague at the plate. He comes in to score for the 3rd run of the game for the Unicorns. Erlinson moves up 90 feet to second, and Ibarra reaches safely for the first time here today. That's his 2nd RBI of the night. It's 2 for 2 with a homer and a single.
Have yourself a night.
Yeah, Ibarra couldn't have had a better start to this one. And then on the opposite side of that, Siler still with no outs here. The first 3 men have reached via the single. And now Adrian Guzman stands in. He reached on a base on balls and came in to score back in his first plate appearance. He's already up here for the 2nd time today in the 2nd inning.
Well, and if you're Siler, you started this inning off 8-9-1. You thought, okay, get some confidence rolling here. Let's get these bottom 2 guys, and they get singles off you. And then when things aren't going your way, they just continue not to go your way. And that little blooper over the third baseman drops into left field, and another run against you.
Yeah, a little bit of unluckiness for Siler to start this ball game, but like we mentioned, did have the 2 walks in the first inning. It kind of led to those 2 runs outside of the homer from Ibarra, but meanwhile, Guzman looking at a 1-1 offer, that ball missing in the dirt low. He's worked the count in his favor here, 2-1.
Well, one thing we really haven't mentioned either is both these teams doing a really good job of staying patient at the plate today, working those counts, running the pitcher's pitch counts up a little bit. Oh!
That one getting away from Siler, getting away from Gauthier, and because of it, both Ibarra and Erlinson will move up 90 feet closer to scoring, and the Beavers' woes continue.
There's a big threat on deck. You got Dan Ward. You load the bases here, you can be in some serious trouble. So Siler needs to get an out right here. Double play is now pretty much out of the option unless you get a base running mistake, but you got to get at least 1 to help yourself out here.
Yeah, in a perfect world, they can get back in this count and then retire Guzman via the strikeout, or with the man over there on third base, Erlinson. He's definitely not one of the slower guys on this baseball field. Get maybe a shallow fly ball, it turns into 2. Either way, the Beavers are in a desperate need of an out here.
Yeah, it's definitely not as likely of a situation as if we just had the standard, 6-4 or 4-6-3 double play.
And then you see Siler right there bringing that front knee up, going back to second with it, keeping tabs on these 2 base runners. But 3 singles have started off this home half of the 2nd, and then a no-out walk will bring Guzman to first base for the 2nd time today via the walk. Bases remain loaded here now.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Dan Ward here. And, I was looking maybe a mound meeting coming out, but nothing. They're going to leave Siler out here to deal with Dan Ward himself. I don't even see any action in the pen. Maybe a little stirring, but nothing really. It's all Siler.
Yeah, absolutely nothing yet. The entire bullpen staff is in the dugout down the first base line. This is probably Siler's inning, pending the results of what Dan Ward can put together. Breaking ball starts Ward off with a ball, misses just outside. And Siler continues to not hit the zone.
And I think you'd have to think just a little bit about at least starting to get someone up. Can't let this game get away from you too much. You're already down 3-0. Dan Ward easily can break this thing wide open. You want to limit the damage as much as you can.
Yeah, and the Beavers, who are in this game here today against the Unicorns, we look on to the rest of the weekend. You got the Beavers again tomorrow against the Mammoths as Ward looks at a breaking ball for called strike 2. So the Beavers weekend, it's pretty big. They got 3 on tap, not only today, not only tomorrow against the Mammoths, but then they'll play against these Unicorns here again on Sunday. So we'll start the weekend just as we finish it. Ward, meanwhile, fouling off the 1-2 pitch, stays alive, though. So the Beavers with 3 games, the Mammoths with 2. Or, excuse me, the Mammoths with 2, and then the Unicorns with 2 as well. Diamond Hoppers only with 1 game here this weekend. They were 3-0 in last weekend's contests. They play on Saturday against the Westside Woolly Mammoths for Bob Seeger Tribute Night. This chopper over to the right side of the infield. It's going to be tough to get to. They get the out at second base to retire Adrian Guzman, but Erlinson comes in to score. Ibarra gets over to third base, and then, of course, Ward reaches first with the fielder's choice. But the Beavers get their first out of the inning. It took a while to get there. Guzman is retired, and that gives way to the starting third baseman, the cleanup hitter, Brandon Larkin-Guilfoyle.
Well, and you have to think, even if Siler isn't going to go past this inning, I mean, he's had 2 very high stressful innings, and his pitch count's been up there. I think we said 21 after the first.
Yeah, actually 25 after the first, and he's already at 52 here. Pitch number 53 right there as Larkin-Guilfoyle swings above a pitch. And, yeah, things have not been what Siler predicted this game was going to look like. Still no action on the right side of the diamond as far as players going from the dugout to the bullpen. Runners on the corners, Ward and Ibarra trying to keep this one going for the Unicorns. Larkin-Guilfoyle, a good candidate for a double play. He's already down in the count here 0-2 with a strikeout under his belt already.
Well, and I guess you could say the only positive coming out of that last play is it sets up the double play again. No one at second, and it's a grounder to first.
It's going to eat up the first baseman, Jack Cranek. Runner at first, Brandon Larkin-Guilfoyle will actually end up being retired. It's going to go down in the books as a 3-4-3 putout. And then Guilfoyle is retired for the second out in this one. 2 down. Run does come in to score in Ibarra. So the score now 5-0 in favor of the Corns. Dan Ward over there now at second base. Nico Lolio stands in, and look at this sun that has peeked out from the clouds. Nico Lolio having to deal with the shadows now, and that's never easy to work with.
I don't even know if it might bother Nico a little bit as you look towards his head. He's got a little sun in his eyes, but I think it's affecting Siler more. He's completely in the sun looking towards the shade.
As this breaking ball hit to the left side, the play is going to be made by Skylar Mercado. Nico Lolio is retired for the third and final out, but not before the Unicorns can put up 3 more in the home half of the second. They lead it 5-0. We're through 2 here at Jimmy John's Field on this Irish American Heritage Night between the Beavers and the Unicorns. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. So to the top we go. Top of the third, top of the Birmingham Bloomfield batting order. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call here with you. Back out for his third inning of work, Mr. Gio Abreu, the right-hander out of New York, New York. Now he'll have to deal with the sun issues against Ryan Smith, who's 0 for 1 on the night, but he's 4 of his last 13 with 2 home runs to his credit. He's got a 1-0 offer. He's hit it out to right field, right center field to be exact, and Spencer Barr will move to his right to make the play with ease. 1 up, 1 down for the Beavers here in the third, and Gio Abreu's doing pretty well thus far.
He has, but Ibarra had to have, New staring right into the sun on that one. He had to have a little bit of a, he didn't seem like it, but that's a blinding sun, and it's right out there to right field.
Yeah, and Ibarra out there in right. He's not wearing any shades, so that one was all glove. And now Rob Pauler stands in. Pauler on the night 0 for 1 with a fly out, you guessed it, over to right, where Ibarra had retired him for the second out of the ball game. Pauler on the first pitch he sees a big cut. He was trying to put one over the head of Ibarra, but couldn't make contact on it. Abreu's stuff really deceptive here today as the 0-1 offer. Missing high with the fastball. Evens the count up at 1-1. Pauler on the season overall 5 of 29. But like we mentioned, he does have the 1 home run and 5 RBIs to his credit so far this season. And one thing we haven't mentioned, Mr. Santina, you noticing anybody out of this Birmingham Bloomfield Beaver batting lineup tonight? Putting you on the spot here.
You are putting me on the spot here.
It's okay if you don't know. You can.
I don't know.
So, the 2017 batting title champion, Mr. Thomas Ruis.
Oh yeah.
Not in the lineup here tonight. Wonder why? Maybe it's just a day off, or hopefully nothing's wrong with him, as he's been a lot of fun to watch so far this season. Meanwhile, Pauler on the 2-2 pitch looks at a breaking ball, holds off on it, and now he's worked the count full. And on the 3-2 pitch, the catcher, Mr. Jimmy Latona, will hold on as Pauler swings through and goes down for the strikeout. 2 up, 2 down here in the third, and outside of those 2 walks, Mr. Gio Abreu has been dominant.
Well, that's his 3rd strikeout on the night, and I was just going to check. That's the 5th 3-2 count he's gone to tonight already.
Wow. So a lot of pitches thus far in the first 2 2/3 frames to be exact. Mr. Abreu with 55 pitches here.
You know, I just pulled up the lineup card that we got earlier.
Yeah.
Rulis was not on it.
Really?
Not even as active players.
Huh. So you hope that everything's okay with Mr. Rulis. Didn't hear anything from the league as far as an injury standpoint. Cranek now, meanwhile, standing in, and you can forget about this one. Heads up on the lawn. Jack Cranek with his first home run of the season. We talked so much about how well he has been performing all year long, but that one, the first one to leave the yard. The man out of Ortonville, Michigan, was batting .393 to lead the league coming into play today, and he continues to shred. He was hit by a pitch in the first, and he hits the pitch here in the third. He gives the Beavers not only their first hit of the game, but their first run of the game.
Hey, Rich. I believe that's right. Isn't it a 9-game hitting streak now? Isn't it Cranek that has it?
That is Mr. Cranek's 9th game of the 2018 season. He has a hit now in every single one of them. I mentioned that before the game here with the guys up in the booth, and pretty sure I was told by one of you two that I might have jinxed Mr. Cranek, but that not the case, as he drives in the first run of the game for the Beavers. And now, meanwhile, Christian Helsel with a ground ball over to the right side. He is retired via the 4-3 putout. Gio Abreu's no-hitters done for the night. It is retired because of that solo shot from Cranek as he puts the Beavers on the board. But the Unicorns still out in front by a score of 5-1. We head to the home half of the third. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. It'll be Latona, Grote, and Sprague due up for the Utica Unicorns to begin this home half of the third. Corns out in front by a score of 5-1 here in this one. Mark Siler back out for his third inning of work, but 57 pitches through 2 frames. Definitely going to have to get a 1-2-3 inning mixed in here in these next couple if he's going to want to continue.
Oh, he's going to have to do it quick. You know, we talked in the break there about Abreu has 59 through 3. So, I mean, that pitch right there that was inside to make it 1-1, he now has as many pitches as Abreu does, and he's still got 3 outs to get here.
Like we mentioned, Latona here up at the plate, 1 for 1 on the night. Had the RBI single back in the first that drove in Adrian Guzman. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed. Latona batting .217 coming into play today. As the sun, it wasn't really there to start the game. It crept through the clouds as we went along, but it is starting to set a little bit. And like we mentioned in the previous inning with Siler out there on the bump, got to imagine that's pretty tough on the mound. Pitchers, of course, aren't allowed to wear sunglasses, and it is blaring Mark Siler in the face right now. The 2-2 pitch fouled off and down that left field line. We'll do it all over again.
Jimmy Latona, his first time up, came up, first pitch swinging, drove that one into left. He's battling here a little bit now, 2-2 in the count.
Wind picking up a little bit from left to right here. Latona with the open stance. Hits one to the left side. The third baseman, Christian Helsel, makes the play with ease. One corner to another. Retires Latona for the 5-3 putout. He now gives way to Carter Grote, who ended the first inning with a pop out to Rob Pauler.
So Latona hit that one about 2 feet to the left of where he hit the last one. It was his first time up to bat in the first inning, but it was just in the way there, and this time he's out instead of standing on first base.
So the Unicorns trying to get their third consecutive inning with a run scored. They had 2 in the first, 3 in the second. But Mark Siler has limited the damage thus far in this third inning. Carter Grote 0 for 1 on the night, like we mentioned. a rough start to this season. Fly ball out to shallow left field. Running it down is Daniel Oliveri for out number 2. So you got to take it pitch by pitch, at bat by at bat. And, of course, in this great game of baseball, you got to have that short-term memory. Mark Siler, like we mentioned, 57 pitches through the first 2 frames, just 1 strikeout, 3 walks. He allowed 5 runs on 5 hits through the first 2 frames, but 2 up and 2 down have retired Latona and Grote to begin this home half of the 3rd inning. And now Dylan Sprague stands in, who had a .037 batting average coming into play tonight, but is 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. He started the 2nd inning off with a base knock.
If I'm in Siler's head right now, my mission would be out there is just try to do my best to keep them scoreless. Cranek finally got you on the board. You don't have to worry about a no-hitter or a shutout or anything like that. So you got some offensive production. Now it's while I'm out there, as long as I have the rest of this game, to keep them scoreless, to maybe give myself the chance to win, get the win here later in the game.
And, you know, Chris Newell believes in every single one of his guys, and you can see that evident here. He, of course, allowing the 4 or 5 runs through the first 2 frames, but no action in that bullpen just yet. He's right around 70 pitches as pitch 68 is hit over to the right side, and the 1-2 count will retire Dylan Sprague. The 4-3 put out retire the Unicorns in the home half of the 3rd, 1-2-3. We head to the top of the 4th. They're out in front 5-1. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call here with you. The 5, 6, 7 hitters due up to start this 4th inning for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers as they try and sneak their way back into this baseball game. Gio Abreu on the bump for his 4th inning of work. Starts Gauthier off with a fastball outside that misses, and then on the inside, almost getting a piece of Gauthier with that fastball. And Abreu, he's working quick here, but got to keep in mind to try and work ahead of some of these hitters. And there's that 90-mile-an-hour fastball outside corner, brings the count to 2-1. Gauthier on the night, 0 for 1 with a fly out to right field. I've seen a lot of those here tonight as some of the batters of this Birmingham Bloomfield team have been kind of late on some of these pitches from Abreu. They Can't really seem to figure him out just as of yet, except for that solo shot from Cranek. That ball in the dirt gets away from Abreu, and because of it, a leadoff walk is recorded. That is the, let's count it, third walk of the night for Abreu. We mentioned coming into play tonight, he had a 17 strikeout to 4 base on balls ratio, but here tonight, he's got just 3 strikeouts to now 3 walks, so the ratio is even, but I'm guarantee you that Mr. Abreu not happy with himself when it comes to allowing runners to get on base the freeway. This one earned by Skyler Mercado, a base knock back up the middle, puts runners at first and second, and the Beavers with their first actual threat of the game.
As Hunter Wood comes up to the plate, take a look at his stats back in college, and struck out 48 times back in 2017 in 51 games. So if you're Abreu here, got to attack. You got a 5-1 lead. You can't let him creep back into this thing. Got to attack the hitter. Don't play around with him. Go right after him.
Now my pick the stick candidate, Mr. Hunter Wood, stands in. Good opportunity to maybe lay down a sacrifice bunt, but it looks like Wood's going to get the free swing. Line drive down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble, and it will. One hopper off the wall. It rattles around. Carter Grote out there in the hot corner, and then coming in to score is Adam Gauthier. Mercado goes all the way around from first to third base, and Hunter Wood with that RBI double give the Beavers their second run of the night.
Yeah, what a nice hit down the line there, and Grote trying to chase that thing down. It just landed foul, and unfortunately for Grote, it actually took a awkward bounce off the top of the wall there and bounced back towards right center, and he had to change his pursuit there and almost allowed the second run to come in.
I was going to say it did rattle around in that corner, but fortunately for the Unicorns, Mercado could not come in to score, so – and then, hold on, okay, that one fouled off near the first base coach's box. Thought we might have a diving catch opportunity for the first baseman, Dan Ward, but it goes foul instead. But, yeah, I was really thinking that Mercado might have been able to come in to score with the speed that he's got, but the manager, Chris Newell, a smart man, and with no outs on the board, you know, you don't want to get the first out at the plate, as it looks like James Batley will have to get a new piece of lumber as on that foul ball hit to the first base side actually chipped off some of the wood, so Batley will have to get a new piece of lumber and stand back in.
Exactly. You don't want to run into outs at any time, but especially when you're down 3 runs here. I mean, you are in the bottom of your order, but who knows what can happen. You might turn it over and to get the first out at the plate. Oh, and he shattered his bat again.
Back-to-back pitches from Mr. Gio Abreu break a couple different weapons for the Beavers. Batley is retired via the 3U putout for out number 1, but the runner Mercado did in fact come in to score. We were so enthused by that second broken bat, we almost forgot that Mercado had came in to score right there. So the RBI will go down in the books for Batley, as he is retired for the first time tonight. He had walked back in the second inning, and now Daniel Oliveri stands in, and Dan Ward was almost that close to making a diving stop for the second out, but it makes contact with the leather, and as he was diving, it kind of rolled out with him. You could tell Ward with the mannerisms as he was walking back towards first base, not happy with himself. He gets dirty, but can't get the results to come with it.
Well, and we talked about Mercado coming home, and it could have been a play at the plate. You look now, there's 1 out, and we're going to hit the top of the order. So that out could be crucial here later in this inning.
Oliveri down in the count here, 1-2. Runner on third base is Hunter Wood, my pick the stick candidate for tonight's festivities. On the 0-2 pitch, drop third strike. It is recorded in the books as a strikeout. The 2-3 finishes it off, and we head back to the top of this Birmingham Bloomfield batting order. Daniel Oliveri strikes out for the second time in tonight's matchup. Ryan Smith now stands in from the right side as we head back to the top of this order, but Smith on the night, a couple of flyouts, one to center and one to right. He's trying to get his first base knock of the evening, and if he does so, it'll bring in the fourth run of the game for the Beavers. It would be a big one. Brayu, meanwhile, breaking ball falls right over the heart of the plate for strike one to Smith.
Brayu now has 5 strikeouts on the night so far.
Yeah, the first of the inning to Oliveri, and that one going behind the head of Smith. Just
it kind of went right at Smith, and he kind of ducked to get out of it, but it was obviously like a curveball or slider, something that didn't break the way Brayu wanted it to.
See if this pitch can do what Abreu wants, and in fact it will. Fastball right down Broadway. Smith couldn't catch up to it. He fouls it off at the last second into the netting, but he's down on the count here now, 1-2. Abreu just gave a quick look to the scoreboard to make sure the count, in fact, was 1-2. Here it comes. Breaking ball. Smith was sitting on it. It's in the gap, but will a play be made? Diving catch! Carter Grote with a line and catch to end the inning. Ryan Smith is retired, and that is, in fact, your 1-800-Hanson's get it done play of the game. Who knows? Maybe we'll see another SportsCenter top 10 play here tonight. But
I think it's nominee worthy.
Nominee worthy indeed. Beavers are retired, but they get a couple of runs and make it 3-5. Unicorns still out front as we head to the home half of the fourth. Carter Grote with a spectacular catch ends this one. We head to the break. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call here for this baseball game between the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and Utica Unicorns. To the home half of the fourth we go. Got Mark Siler back out on the bump for the Beavers. He is already at 70 pitches, 69 of them coming into this home half of the fourth. Justin Erlinson stands in here now. He's got the count even at 1-1. Your pick the stick tonight, Mr. Santina, already 1 for 1 on the night with a single and a run scored. So not a bad contest thus far, as Hunter Wood in the top of the fourth inning had that RBI double. And now Erlinson down in the count here, 1-2.
It's going to be close. We're going to have to, if it were to end now, we'd have to figure out some point scoring system.
Right.
It's mighty close, especially with what Erlinson does in this at bat.
Yep. If Erlinson strikes out, do you count a double and an RBI or a single and a run scored is more? But time will tell.
You said we might have to figure this out sometime in the future. It might have to happen tonight.
As Erlinson hits a fly ball into left center field, but James Batley jogs over to that one. I would have had to have been in a car to catch that. James Batley, on the other hand, looks like he's not even out of breath as he jogs right back to his center field position. Erlinson is retired via the flyout to center, and now we'll head back to the top of this order. And I'll tell you what, if someone picked Spencer Ibarra before tonight's festivities, they'd be way out in front of this one. A home run, a single, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored for the man out of Fort Collins, Colorado.
You know, I was watching Oliveri on that fly ball, and it kind of looked like the one we had right before break where it looked like he was going to have to dive to make that play, but Batley kind of strolled over there like it was no big deal, just a nice, easy jog, and caught that one on the run.
It is scary how much speed he has out there in center field. It's kind of, you know, the predominant position where a guy who's got the most speed on the team is most likely your center fielder. Covers most ground out there in the outfield, and he'll be the one to call off the men to his left and to his right if something gets close. But, I mean, all the outfielders showing, you know, great athleticism so far this season as Ibarra looks at the 1-1 fastball high and away that brings the count to 2-1. Between Drew Kitson, James Batley, Justin Erlinson, Johnny Knight IV, I mean, you name it, a lot of athletes out there in that center field position here at the USPBL.
Not only the outfield, we've seen a lot of good plays just in general. A lot of them that, you know, could be top 10 nominees.
And as you say that, how about that? Spencer Ibarra with the 3rd hit of the night. Back-to-back singles after that home run. And, I mean, it's evident why he's leading off for this Utica team at the top of their order. Just a tremendous season thus far for Spencer Ibarra, the man out of Ohio University.
Yeah, Rich, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say that's exactly why they put him at the top of the order as your leadoff man.
And hold on here. We could end the inning. The 6, the 4. Will it be 3? The stretch is held, but the ball is not. Cranek with a nice stretch over there at first base, but Adrian Guzman will reach with the fielder's choice as Ibarra is retired via the 6-4 putout at second base. Guzman got there just in the nick of time, but I wonder if they'll mark it as a fielder's choice or an error on the shortstop, Skyler Mercado.
Well, we must be just on the same page or connecting wavelengths here, because that's what I was looking on the official scoreboard there to see before I wrote it down in my book if they're going to rule it an error, and it looks like it's just going to be a fielder's choice.
You're a smart kid, Dominic. That's why you're up here in the booth with me. Glad to get you on the call here for the night. You've been doing a lot of hard work over there on the other end of the press box, running our audio for a lot of games here this season, but glad to see you up in the booth. You said you had some experience at your college over there at Rochester, just down the road here. But back to the action. Dan Ward ahead in the count 1-0 after looking at the first pitch fastball, and then fouling it off into the netting. This one evens the count up at 1-1.
As we were talking, though, Ibarra, though, is a leadoff man. Giving you some power, which is always nice to see, but 3 for 3, that's what you look. Someone that can turn it over to your number 3 and 4 guys in Dan Ward and Guilfoyle.
And look at that. A breaking ball out of the hand of Siler is sat right there by Dan Ward. And, you know, some of these breaking balls just find the heart of the zone, and these Unicorns are sitting on it, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do with some of these pitches. And now runners are on first and second for Brandon Larkin-Guilfoyle, but he's over 2 on the night. A strikeout looking, and then a 3-4-3 putout.
I mean, when we're looking at Siler's stats from the minors, you know, he let up quite a few hits. He had 49 innings pitched and let up 51 hits. He's already let up 7 here today. So he's going to walk people. He's going to strike a few out, but he's going to let up some hits too. And he's got to hit around the ballpark a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a great outing for the right-hander. He's going to have to learn as he goes and adapt to what some of these hitters are doing. But it's all going to start with, you know, getting that accuracy up. You're going to have to throw less walks if you're going to want to succeed, because the walks lead to hits, and, of course, walks and hits, they lead to runs, and that'll lead to more losses. And the snowball effect will continue down the line, but
well, and that, you know, we kind of talked about it in the intermission, Rich, is the reason these two guys are here. They need to work on that stuff, their command, their walks, letting up hits. You know, USPBL, we kind of pride ourselves on being a stepping stone back to the MLB, or to the MLB for some kids, and that's what he's got to work on.
And meanwhile, Larkin-Guilfoyle with his first base knock of the evening. It'll be an RBI single that drives in Adrian Guzman for the 6th run of the game for the Corns. Dan Ward moves up 90 feet into scoring position, and Larkin-Guilfoyle with his first base knock of the day gives the Unicorns their 6th run. And now Nico Lolio, big power hitter for the Unicorns, will stand in, but not before a meeting of the minds on the mound. It looks like the man warming up in the bullpen will be coming in, and it looks to be Brandon Maddern. But we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll give you Siler's final line and then some info on the man coming out to the mound now for the Beavers. But 2 outs, 2 men on. Unicorns out in front by 3. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Siler's night is done. He goes 3 2/3, allows 6 earned runs on 8 hits, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. He's, of course, in charge of the guys on the base pass, both Dan Ward and Brandon Larkin-Guilfoyle, who both reach with base knocks. And now Nico Lolio stands in. He'll face off against Brandon Maddern, who's in his 4th relief appearance of the season. Does have 1 start under his belt. That was just a few short 4 days ago. Maddern with the 1-0 fastball called strike on the outside corner, but Mattern's trying to get his season on the up and up as he can only go up from here. In his last outing in that start back on May the 27th against the Westside Woolly Mammoths, he goes 2.1 innings, allows 5 earned runs on 5 hits, gave up 2 walks, but had 2 strikeouts against the 15 batters he faced. A slow ground ball to the right side, underhanded by the second baseman, Rob Poller. It's about the only thing he could do with it as he retires Lolio for the 3rd and final out. So Mattern retires the last batter and gets the 2 guys on the base pass out for Mr. Mark Siler. We are through 4 as the Unicorns lead the Beavers by a score of 6-3. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina, your broadcasters for tonight's ball game. We're through 4 innings of play. If you're just joining us, the Utica Unicorns with 2 runs in the first, 3 in the second, and 1 more in the fourth. Give them their 6. And then for the Beavers, a solo shot from Jack Cranek in the third, and then a walk, a single, a double. Brought in 2 for them in the previous 4th inning. Now Rob Poller stands in from the left side, looks at a couple of pitches, 3 to be in fact, to give himself a really good hitter's count. We'll see if he's given the green light against Gio Abreu, who's in his 5th inning of work. Fastball outside, misses the zone. A leadoff walk for Poller gives the Beavers a leadoff base runner. And last guy you want up at the plate if you're the Unicorns, Mr. Jack Cranek, who's working on the 9-game hitting streak now.
Well, we do have some movement up in the Unicorns bullpen. A couple guys getting up and getting loose, so we'll see if they decide to 1, pitch to Cranek, and 2, see if there's any mound meeting or we got any movement. It looks like maybe someone else is headed now to the bullpen as well.
I would not be shocked to see, as this ball gets away from Abreu, drills Cranek after the leadoff walk, a hit by pitch right there. That is the 2nd time Cranek has been hit by a pitch tonight from Abreu. So he reaches base safely for the 3rd time, but he earns that one.
I'd have to say that was unintentional.
Yeah.
That did not look.
Maybe if Poller was already on second base, but
no.
Yeah.
It looked like something maybe broke a little bit too much. But no, going back to the last inning, though, bringing Mattern in, he's a 6'9" lefty, 250.
Ball's hit down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's gone, but home plate umpire Stuart Hall says it was, in fact, foul. Christian Helsel the batter slowly walking back towards home plate, and he was about a fraction of a second early on that one.
For sure, and that would have been the tie ball game.
Yep.
But it's baseball for you. Matters of inches and fair ball, foul ball. Luckily, we don't have instant replay to dispute that one, but we'll move on, and now he's down in the count 0-1.
So Abreu continuing to work here in this fifth. Breaking ball inside, a little bit low. Misses the zone. Count evens up at 1-1 for Helsel. But Abreu on the night, 41 strikes, 41 balls, 82 pitches. You'd like to see that ratio somewhere in the 3/4 strikes and 1/4 balls. But he's half and half on the night and still working with the 3-run lead. Bullpen will definitely be a factor here in tonight's ballgame.
Well, exactly, and that's what we were talking about with Siler, that he needed to buckle down a little bit because you knew neither of these pitchers, the way they started, were going to go the distance. So it's going to be who can pick it up from the bullpen. So luckily the Beavers have got some offense here and got to Abreu a little bit and give themselves a shot instead of being blown out here tonight.
Yeah, we're just about halfway through this baseball game. Gio Abreu had started off really well, but like you mentioned, a lot of full count at-bats. The reason that this pitch count is so high up here in this fifth inning with nobody out. And the slider getting away from Latona. That'll bring runners to second and third, leaves first base open, but as bad as this game started out for the Beavers, they're slowly inching their way back against Gio Abreu here.
For sure. Runners at the second and third now, no outs. Another full count here for Abreu. We'll have to see what happens.
Payoff pitch, fastball right down Broadway, taken into the right center gap. It'll be a tough play for Erlinson, but he comes up with it again. Are you kidding me? What another top 10 play here for the boys on the Unicorns. First it was Groton, now it's Erlinson. The runner tags up from third to come in to score, but out there at second base, Jack Cranek has to scurry on back to get there safely.
Well, as I was watching Erlinson track that ball down, it seemed like it was going to get over his head and probably bounce up against the wall and drive in both of those runs. But a nice play there. And, hey, Rich, do we get points for defensive plays?
That is not the case. But for Gio Abreu, his night is officially done. We'll take a quick break, give you his final line, and then let you know who's coming in to pitch. Looks to be Mr. Will Marshall, and in fact it is. You can't mistake him, the 5'6", 655-pounder. We'll tell you about him when we come back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland and Dom Santina on the call here with you. Gio Abreu, his night is done after 4 1/3. He allows 4 earned runs on 3 hits, 4 walks, though. And that was part of the reason that he had to come out of this one in the 5th. After not allowing the Beavers to score at all through the first 2, they've scored 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and now 1 here in the 5th. The runner on second base is Jack Cranek, but meanwhile, a new arm on the bump for the Unicorns. It is Will Marshall, as Adam Gauthier looks at a ball and then fouls off a strike, count even at 1-1. But how about this season line for Will Marshall, the man out of Dallas, Texas? It's his 6th relief appearance on the season. He's gone 9 innings, and in those 9 innings, he's maintained a 1-1 record. He's allowed just 6 hits, 3 walks, doesn't have any strikeouts, but he's a pure pitch-to-contact type of pitcher on the mound. You'll see a lot of fly balls that are lazy, and the batters just can't get good contact on it. The right-hander, 155 pounds, 5'4", but it's all about the size of the fight in the dog instead of the size of the dog in the fight. And Will Marshall is the prime example of that. It's been tremendous so far here in 2018 with the Unicorns, and a big reason why he's come in here in this middle relief spot. There's that slider that misses the zone barely as the count evens up at 2-2, but Adam Gauthier, I don't know how he held off on that pitch. That was a prime pitch from Will Marshall. And let's see if he tries to come back here with it on the 2-2.
I thought he had strike 3 there. Ooh, and that one even looked good, and it's going to run the count full now.
He has painted both the inside and outside corner, and we talked about how through these first 9 innings on the season for Marshall, as well as he's pitched, he doesn't have a strikeout yet.
Just check, no double play in order either. Runner at second, no one on first.
A 3-2 pitch. It was going to be ball 4, but it gets a piece of Gauthier, and he will waltz his way over to first base. Runners now at first and second, still just 1 out here, courtesy of that web gem catch by Erlinson out in center field.
Only 1 run, but that probably saved another run, and that's 2 catches now that have saved 2 runs off the board, and if you put those 2 runs on the board, it's a tie game right now. I mean, there's still a possibility that 1 could score, but
limiting the damage for now.
Exactly.
And now Mercado stands in. Mercado on the night, a single and a walk to his credit, does have a run scored. That was back in the 4th inning just recently. Runners on first and second. Cranek at second. Gauthier at first. Marshall in his first jam of the season. And on that 0-1 pitch, I mean, you could not have pinpointed that in a better direction. Mercado couldn't do anything with it as he's frozen with that fastball in the outside corner. Count 0-2.
Now I look for pitch down the zone. Probably a little off speed. Try to get him to turn it over. Double play, get you out of the inning.
The 0-2 slider swung on and missed. Mercado was looking for something out of the zone, but Marshall went right after him. The 0-2 pitch, slider right down the heart of the plate. Swung on and missed here for out number 2, and Mercado is retired for the first time here tonight.
Well, and how about that? There's your first strikeout of the season.
There that strikeout is, and Mercado, you saw, was late on that off-speed pitch. It was simply just a missed guess, and for Marshall, he doesn't have high heat coming out of that right hand, but with how crafty he can be, guys can choose wrong, and because of it, Mercado goes down for the first time here tonight, but still ways to go with my pick the stick candidate for the night. Hunter Wood standing in, had that big double for an RBI that drove in Adam Gauthier back in the previous 4th inning to give the Beavers their 2nd run of the game. But Wood on the night, 1 for 2 with that RBI double, did strike out looking back in the 2nd. But an opportunity here to give the Beavers a 1-run deficit, a tie, or maybe even the lead, pending the result of this at-bat. Wood yet to have a home run to his credit here in this 2018 season. Wood last year with the Beavers did not have a home run either, so not known for his home run power just yet. As he fouls off the 1-1 pitch as it goes out of play, count quickly 1-2, and just like that, Wood is going to have to protect here with 2 strikes.
Well, if we look back at his college numbers, he did have 9 homers in college, so he did show a little pop in his bat. Maybe finding it here at the different level of play and more talented players out here, so a little harder to hit him out of the yard, but definitely has it in his capability to power one out when he needs to.
The wind going out to left field, and so will that baseball. Rounding third, heading for home is Cranek. There's going to be a play at the plate, but the throw is offline. Carter Grote had the runner beat, just could not make the pinpoint throw, and the risk from Chris Newell pays off as the big fella rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling around third base comes in to score. The Beavers are now within a run.
Well, you know what? I saw Guilfoyle come, and he thought about cutting that ball off, but he saw there was a lot of heat on that throw from Grote, and it easily made it to home plate, but it was just up the line a little bit. And if I was Guilfoyle, I think in my mind he made the right decision letting that go. I think at the end it just tailed off just a little too far to make a play at the plate.
Yeah, unfortunate scenario right there for Carter Grote. Could not put the throw on the money, and because of it, the Beavers are now within a run. Runners on the corners are Wood and Gauthier, but the RBI single for Wood gets them within the run. Batley, though, on the 1-0 count is retired via the 4-3 putout. But like we mentioned, the Beavers with the 2 runs in the top half of the 5th put them within a run. We're halfway through 5. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Mattern back out on the bump for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. He retired the final batter in the home half of the 4th inning. That was Nico Lolio on a ground out to second base, but the Unicorns still out in front here by a score of 6-5 in the home half of the 5th. It's Jimmy Latona, Carter Grote, and Dylan Sprague due up for the Unicorns here in this home half of the 5th. 6, 7, 8 due up. Mattern, who I mentioned coming into this game tonight with almost a 22 ERA, clearly can only go up from here. he's done well. Retired the first batter he's seen. He's got Latona down here in the count 0-2. And I had talked with one of the other broadcasting interns who was on the call with me the last time Madden was out on the diamond, and he gave up 5 earned runs in his last outing. It was a start against the Mammoths back on the 24th, and, I mean, just overall, the body language after reacting to, you know, failure, it's shown a little bit with Mattern, but you love to see him out here attacking, and that's the beauty of baseball. If you fail one day, there's another day tomorrow to.
From his scouting report, Nico's not the best off left-handed pitching, and we saw it there as he grounded one out to the second baseman. So in a big situation like that, bring Mattern in, let him get some work, try to lower that ERA, and he had a favorable matchup in Nico Lolio to get the third out.
Payoff pitch to Latona is swung on and driven deep to left field, but right at the fringe of the outfield grass and the warning track is Daniel Oliveri, who makes the catch and retires Latona for out number 1. Here comes Carter Grote.
I'd say 2 of those pitches, the first one to start off the at-bat and that one there, was not hard hit, but solidly hit into left field. So something to watch out for here in the bottom of the order is Mattern might be giving up some hard contact.
Yeah, we had learned from Mattern that his fastball velocity, since he had known of this league, he's gone down about 5 to 6 miles an hour. He's right around the low 80s. But coming from the left side, has a little more movement on it, and that can sometimes work out as you see the fastball right there coming in at just 82 miles an hour. And now that I think about it, it's kind of right where I was in college from the left side. I wonder what I'm doing up here in the booth. No, kidding. I definitely belong up here compared to being out there on the diamond, as Grote's worked the count 2-0 in his favor, but the 2-0 pitch is hit high right at the center fielder, James Batley, who ranges underneath it to make the catch for out number 2, as good old JJ, the field general, heads out to do his job, retrieves that baseball bat with ease, and no theatrics. Sometimes JJ gets a little distracted if he sees a loose ball or just runs around for the heck of it, but he does his job right there, and crowd loves it.
Well, if we look at Mattern, he's a lefty. He comes in at 6'9", 250, and he played the last couple of years in the Frontier League before coming here. And even there, his ERA was a little high. It was at 13.5. He was 0-1 in 9 appearances with a save. Only pitched 8 2/3 innings with 15 hits, 13 runs, all of them earned, 8 walks and 10 strikeouts. So not a lot of work, but like you said, that ERA up there once again.
He's got Dylan Sprague even at the count 1-1 with the fastball called for a strike. Sprague on the night, 1 for 2 with a single, a run scored, a ground out to second base, and another ground ball over to the right side. The in-between hop eats up Jack Cranek at first base. We'll wait and see what the result is in the books. Haven't seen anything go up just yet, as JJ, the field general, lost out there on the diamond. Nice help right there from Adam Gauthier, the catcher. He showed JJ the bat, dropped it on the ground, and JJ found what he was looking for. Nice job there from the field general.
Well, you know, I've heard a couple people say, you know, dogs don't have as good as vision with us, and they wonder sometimes when the bats get thrown behind home plate and stuff, the brown on the bat might blend in with the dirt a little bit, and that's JJ just can't see it. So I thought a class act there by Gauthier, just helping the dog out, making sure he did his job, and good job, JJ.
You love to see that. So Sprague reaches via the E3, and hold on, ladies and gentlemen, we might have a play at second, and in fact, we will not. The runner, that was, of course, Dylan Sprague, who just reached with that E3, sees the ball get a little bit away from the catcher, Gauthier, but the ball fell right underneath him. He throws it to second base, and I don't know about you guys up here in the booth, that looked like he for sure had beat the runner at second base, and look at that. Chris Newell going out to speak with his catcher, but a bang-bang play over there at second base. I thought he had him.
We definitely had a play at second base there, but I don't know. I mean, he could have – you're right. He could have slid under the tag a little bit or slid to the back of the bag. Maybe the tag wasn't at the back corner of the bag. All I got to say is in this day and age, I'm sure glad we don't have instant replay.
Too funny. Yeah, that was you're right about that. The ball might have beat the base runner, but the tag did not, according to the field umpire, Mr. Rod Lothian, and because of it, Sprague is now in scoring position. So we'll see if the two-out error comes back to haunt the Beavers here. They're already trailing this one by a score of 6-5. Brandon Mattern's done an exceptional job here. He's retired the first three batters that he's faced tonight, and now Sprague over there at second, who reached on the error. And Erlinson on the second pitch he sees in the at-bat hits a fly ball out to center field. James Batley ranges underneath it to make the catch for the third and final out. Mr. Dominic Santina, your guy for Pick the Stick tonight, 1 for 3 with the single and the run scored. And then over there on the other side, Mr. Hunter Wood for me, a double, a single, and 2 RBIs. Looks like I'm out in front, at least for now. But we'll head to the 6th inning when we come back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland and Dom Santina on the call here with you. We got the bottom of the order due up here for the Beavers in this top of the 6th inning. We're through 5 frames. Utica Unicorns out in front of the Beavers by just a hair as it's 6-5. Will Marshall back out for his first full inning. He had came in to relieve the starter Gio Abreu with 1 out in the previous 5th as he hit the first batter, struck out the second, gave up an RBI single, and then retired Batley with a ground out. But he's got Oliveri down here in the count early 0-2 as he fouls that one off and out of play. Beautiful night for baseball as far as weather is concerned. Mentioned it's Irish Heritage Night and Utica night at the ballpark. And then as this ball on the 0-2 pitch, Marshall was giving up too much room on that plate, and because of it, the 0-2 pitch is hit into left field for a leadoff single. And you got to imagine if you're Marshall, the man who's been wheeling and dealing all season long, just missed his spot there.
Yeah, it looked like it was located over to the plate just a little bit too much. Came towards the center of the plate, and Oliveri hit it into left field. Split that third base shortstop gap.
So now back to the top of this Birmingham Bloomfield order we go. Ryan Smith standing in, 0 for 3 on the night. He flew out to everybody out there in that outfield. Flew out to center in the first, flew out to right in the third, and flew out to left in the fourth, so my dollar's on it. He's going to hit a fly ball here. Smith down in the count, 0-1. Runner at first is Oliveri. 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses high, brings the count even to 1-1.
Well, if Marshall has any say into it, he wants him to hit it right to the second baseman or shortstop here on the ground for a double play. Help him get out of this inning and keep the Unicorns on top.
This ball hit on a dime over there down the first baseline. The tag is applied by Ward at first, and then he makes a quick throw to Guzman at second, who, of course, had to make a forced or a non-forced tag, and he ends up getting Oliveri with the tag over there at second. So a 3-6 double play in the books. Retires Smith for out number 1 and Oliveri for out number 2. Heads up play by the man over there at first base.
Well, it wasn't the conventional double play that I was talking about, but a heads up play there by the first baseman, Dan Ward, to tag the bag and then throw on to second. I know when I played a little ball, they always wanted us to throw into
lead runner for sure.
Yeah, get second first, and you can always come back, and just makes it easier on everyone not having to make a tag there at second where you can just force out.
Yeah, but then with where that ball was hit, Ward was right on top of that bag, ends up getting the easy out at 1, and then makes the good throw, you know, with –
Oh, it was a very smart play by Dan Ward, for sure, not even a doubt. I mean, he barely even had to take a step. That ball was almost hit right to him on the bag. And then, yep, like you said, it's just a nice throw to the shortstop and an easy tag and double play.
It's all about the anticipation, expecting the ball to be hit to you, and Ward didn't hesitate for a second as he takes 2 with 1, and now Will Marshall with an opportunity to get a 1-2-3 inning after allowing Oliveri to reach with that leadoff single. 1-1 pitch to Pollard, misses outside, brings the count to 2-1. Pollard on the night, still looking for his first base knock. Did walk and come around to score to lead off the previous 5th inning, but outside of that, a fly out to right field and a strikeout swinging have him over 2 in the ball game tonight. Meanwhile, the 2-1 pitch is looked on, and the count now 3-1 in favor of Pollard. Three-one pitch to Pollard, hit on a line. If it stays fair, it's trouble. It touches the right field line, and it goes into the corner. Pollard rounding first, headed for second. He sees the stop sign from his head coach over there in the third base box, Mr. Chris Newell. And a 2-out double for Pollard gives him his first hit of the night and keeps the Beavers going here in the home top half of the 6th.
I know if you're Chris Newell over there in the third base coaching box, you never want to run into an outs, and it's, you know, almost a cardinal sin in baseball to run into the third out. But, gosh, you have to wonder. I mean, I think Robbie Pollard could have not made it in standing up, but I think he could have made a good attempt at making that a triple.
It would have had to have been a really perfect throw, and the Beavers instead take the safe route, realize who's coming up to the plate in Mr. Jack Cranek, who, of course, on the night, he's 1 for 1 with a solo shot, and then he's been hit by 2 pitches. So you got to imagine if, if Cranek with 2 outs here, if he puts anything in play for a base knock, then Pollard's going to come in to score.
Well, and I think that's what, you know, Rich, you just mentioned it. With Cranek coming up, you don't want to take the bat out of your 3 and 4 guys on a run that, you know, you might have a chance at, you know, they probably had a better chance of getting it, but why give that chance up when, you know, you have your cleanup guys coming up?
Yeah,
so.
The exact thought process for Chris Newell, and, you know, it's not just the players that are anticipating. Coaches having to do the exact same thing, and this might be a tough play for Carter Grote. He's at the track, at the wall, and he makes the jumping catch to retire Cranek. It wouldn't have left the park, but you know what? It would have easily brought in the game-tying run, but instead he is retired. Nice catch and run there from Carter Grote to retire Cranek for the 3rd and final out. So a double play and a nice catch out and left retire the Beavers before they can get a run to tie this one up. We head to the home half of the 6th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the home half of the sixth we go. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call here with you. Brandon Maddern back out on the bump for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. He had a complete inning in the fifth, did retire the final batter in the fourth, and he has yet to give up a hit here tonight. Dylan Sprague reached on an error in the fifth inning, but nothing else could come of it. So we're back to the top of the Utica batting order as Spencer Ibarra stands in. He's looked at 2 pitches, 1 for a ball, 1 for a strike. But what a night he is having. A home run in the first, an RBI single and a run scored in the second, and a single in the fourth. Have him at a perfect 3 for 3. He looks at a ball inside, almost got a piece of him. But you got to imagine if you're Ibarra, you're doing everything in your power to keep this hitting going here. So he's going to try and earn it as the count is now 2-1 in this lefty-lefty matchup between Maddern and Ibarra. Quick pitch is lofted. It looks like it's going to be enough to get out of play, and it will. Count evens up at 2-2.
Well, if you're Ibarra, you got to be liking this because your 265 average is going to rise a few points here after tonight.
Yeah, Ibarra, in his second year with these Unicorns, I had fun with him last year. I interviewed him a couple different times, and I mentioned as he looks at a fastball that just misses the zone there to bring the count full, how he was an Ohio Bobcat with the in the MAC, in the Mid-American Conference. I, of course, going to CMU in 2016, the Ohio Bobcats won the Mid-American Conference tournament, which, of course, gives them an automatic bid to the MAC tournament as this ball is hit on a dime out there at the wall and at the track. Making the catch over his head is Ryan Smith. That was a heck of a job right there to keep your eyes on the baseball all the way through that one to corral that one. But in some of those interviews with Spencer, I had always teased with him as I was actually on the call with CMU for the radio broadcast against Ohio in their 3-game series with CMU during the regular season when they had won the entire conference. CMU swept them in 3 straight games. So, of course, the Bobcats with the victory at the end of the year, but Chips 3-0 against them in the regular season. That was fun to have a conversation with him. But as we talk about that, a break in the action, Brandon Maddern's night is done. We'll give you his line when we come back, and then we'll let you know who's coming in to pitch when we come back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call. Brandon Mattern's night in relief is done. He goes an inning and 2/3, allows no runs, no hits, no walks, no Ks. Did give up one base runner on an error from the first baseman, Jack Cranek, when Dylan Sprague reached safely. But now it'll be Brian Heldman, the right-hander out of San Diego State University and Round Rock, Texas, what most known in this league for his delivery as he brings in the submarine fastball to Adrian Guzman for strike number 1.
Looking at Brian Heldman, he's a 6'3" right-hander, 220 pounds, as Rich said, out of San Diego State University. When he was at San Diego, he 37 appearances, all in relief, which ranked number 8 in D1. And then he had a string of 11 appearances where he allowed 0 runs in 11.2 innings and 7 hits.
Talk about impressive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Chris Newell wants right now. As Mattern did his job, shut the door out of the pen, he wants Heldman to do the same thing here.
Indoor breaking ball looked good from up here, but broke just late behind the plate. And we talked about how good his numbers were before he got here. How about last year in 2017 with these Beavers? The record doesn't show. He was 1-3, but in 19 innings pitched, he allowed 30 hits. He gave up 13 walks, but had 21 strikeouts. He did have a 9 ERA and a 2.26 whip. And then the numbers completely flipping the script as he strikes out Guzman for out number 2. This season, through 7 appearances in relief, he's gone 9 1/3 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, but the biggest thing, 3 goose eggs for an ERA, 0.00 on the season so far, and a .96 whip. And he's trying to retire the Unicorns here in the home half of the 6th. He strikes out Guzman, and now Dan Ward, who's had a decent night, a single, and he reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd, also grounded out to the pitcher, Mark Siler, back in the 1st inning. But a whole different approach here with these hitters against a guy like Brian Heldman, who 95% of the time comes out of that submarine approach, and then you'll get the occasional 3/4, and then I've actually seen him once come right over the top, which can totally mess with a batter's eye.
Oh, and if you're Chris Newell, the manager of the Beavers, of course, you want Heldman in here in this situation. I mean, you talked last year, we've talked his college years. It's someone that can come in and shut the door, and he's already got one out here, and you're down 1. He can get you an inning, maybe 2, sets you up for the 9th. Well, it actually sets you up for the 8th, but I was looking ahead of schedule. But, I mean, still, 8th or 9th, give him a couple innings of work here, and you're in an okay position for the rest of this game.
Yeah, the real question is, at least what I've been thinking is, I wonder how long Heldman will stay here with the Beavers, as if he continues at this pace throughout the season, it's only a matter of time before somebody higher up notices him. And you see the change compared to 2017 with his numbers here in 2018. Just goes to show what this delivery value system and our director of baseball operations, Mr. Justin Orenduff, have been able to accomplish here. 20 players through the first 2 years getting picked up by Major League affiliate teams, and it's only a matter of time before we hear the first name called here in 2018. And meanwhile, Mattern on the 0-2 pitch to Ward gets some soft contact to the left side. Ground out from Ward is retired for the 3rd and final out. 1-2-3 inning combined from Mattern and Heldman. Retire the Unicorns. As we're through 6 here at Jimmy John's Field, you're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call here with you. Will Marshall's night in relief is all said and done. He gets his first strikeout of the season. In the 1.2 innings he went, he allowed 3 hits, no runs, and no walks to his credit. He now gives way to Tyler Schwanz, who's in his 6th relief appearance of the season. He's gone 8 innings. He's maintained an 0-1 record, but he does have a save under his belt. He's allowed 9 hits in those 8 innings, but 4 walks to 12 strikeouts, a good ratio. Trying to get the ERA that's at 6.75 down, that's for sure. He'll deal with Helsel, Gauthier, and Mercado to begin this 7th inning. And first pitch to Helsel, a riser that goes behind everybody at home plate.
Well, looking at the scouting report from college, Tyler Schwanz actually was not a pitcher in college. He went to the University of Maine. He was a 6'4", 198-pound center or outfielder.
As this ball ranged down by Erlinson out there in center field, and like you were saying earlier, Dom, if we counted for defense, Erlinson might be able to be your winner tonight, but unfortunately it's just pick the stick. No gloves involved with that challenge, but now Gauthier stands in here as he's still looking for his first hit of the night. 0 for 1 with a fly out to right field. He reached on a base on balls in the 4th and scored a run, and then was hit by a pitch in the 5th, but could only get to 3rd base as he stands in here now from the right side.
That stat line sounded like a mouthful there, Rich.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. Gauthier, 4 of 12 coming into play today in his last 4 games. He hasn't played in every game with this Birmingham Bloomfield team. As I mentioned, he has switched back and forth with Hunter Wood behind the dish in these games here so far in 2018. 1-1 pitch, 2-seam fastball right down Broadway. Schwanz ahead of Gauthier now 1-2. Base is empty. It's a beautiful night for baseball. We were in the low 80s throughout the day and sitting right about 75, 77 degrees here now as fans have stuck around. It's Irish Heritage Night at the ballpark as well as Utica Night. Anybody from Utica in attendance got 2 free complimentary tickets courtesy of the city of Utica. And then meanwhile on that 2-2 pitch, fastball just missed the zone, looked to be low from up here in the press box. Gauthier's worked the count full.
Schwanz was actually a pretty decent outfielder batting-wise. He as he walks Gauthier there, and that'll put a runner on. He had a .284 average, 59 runs scored, 38 RBIs, 12 doubles, 3 triples, 6 homers, 4 stolen bases, and now he's a pitcher.
So just another one of those guys who might have a certain talent at a certain level, but might not have it when he's got to deal with talent like this. Schwanz transitioning from being a position player out to the pitcher's mound. And then as I say that, Carter Grote and Justin Erlinson, both with possibly an error out there in left field. The ball hopped and ricocheted past the glove of Carter Grote out there in left field. And then adding on to that, the ball just kind of kept spiraling out of control as Erlinson couldn't hold on to it either. Skyler Mercado's going to end up, as the error goes up on the board, he'll get the single on the board, but I do not believe he'll get an RBI or, of course, obviously not the double. So Gauthier comes in to score on the error out there in the outfield. Mercado gets to second on the error as well. So just like that, Beavers tied this one up at 6. And now my pick-the-stick candidate, Hunter Wood, standing in. I mean, you can't write it better than this. He started off the night with a looking strikeout, but since then, an RBI double and an RBI single, and now an opportunity to give the Beavers their first lead of the ball game in a desperate spot. As we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, they're on a 5-game losing streak. Ground ball hit to the right side. It's underneath the diving second baseman, but a play at the plate, and it will be in time. The throw, and now look at this, a double play will end the inning. What a job defensively from Dylan Sprague, Jimmy Latona, and Adrian Guzman. The 4-2-6 double play. You never see that, but the Beavers end up tying this one in the top half of the 7th. We're all knotted up as 6 as we head to stretch time, but what a job right there from the second baseman, catcher, and shortstop to retire the Beavers in the top half of the 7th.
How about that? That turned in from being an air into a double play.
Crazy. Crazy stuff we got going on here at the ballpark, and just another reason why to come out here to Jimmy John's Field. And you know what? We're already in it. We'll stick around here with you. Let's take yourselves out to the ball game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call. We got Brandon Rothenberg up here in the booth with us, running the scoreboard. Thanks to him for putting some time in here with us as Brian Heldman stands in now for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. He had retired the last two batters in the 6th inning, Guzman and Ward, with a strikeout and a ground out. He'll now deal with Brandon Larkin Guilfoyle, who hits a ground ball, looks, or sounds, I should say, as if that bat had broken on contact. The weak ground ball is recorded for the 4-3 putout. Easy play there from Pauler to retire Larkin Guilfoyle on one pitch. Good start here for Heldman in the home half of the 7th.
If you're Chris Newell, this has worked out excellent in your favor. Started off the game, and Siler had a little struggle, let up a few runs early, but he shut the door a little bit towards the end, and you bring Madden and Heldman in. They've shut it down, and now you got yourself essentially a 0-0 game here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, it's going to be a best of 3 innings here as Heldman continues to work. Nico Lolio standing in from the left side. He reached on a walk in his first plate appearance, but since then a couple of ground balls up the middle, one to short, one to second, as he's looking for his first hit of the night.
I'd watch out. Just keep a little eye on this one. It might
a little premonition over here.
Nico might be due.
He's definitely due. The man out of the great state of Michigan here looks at ball 1 to even this count up at 1-1. But if you're just joining us, the Unicorns were out front of this one 5-0 after just 2 innings of play, and then through 3.5, it was a 5-3 ball game. Unicorns tacked back 1 run in the home half of the 4th that put it to That would be 6-3 as I do my broadcasting math. The Beavers, meanwhile, since then have scored 2 in the 5th, 1 in the top of the 7th to knot this one up at 6. So, like you said earlier, Dom, this one the best of the final couple of frames. Brian Heldman on the 1-2 pitch looked like Nico Lolio was ready to head back to the dugout, but that ball just missed the zone, according to home plate umpire Stuart Hall.
I don't know if you caught that one, but Heldman came almost directly over the top with that one.
Heldman trying to fool Lolio. Let's see which delivery he goes with this time. Back downstairs, and that one misses just low as Lolio has now worked the count full.
A lot of good patience by every hitter in this lineup today, working a lot of the counts, running the pitcher's pitch counts up, and getting themselves better chances to hit.
Lolio on the payoff pitch, works his second walk of the night. He did not see any strikes in that first at-bat, but he works the count full here and earns the walk the hard way. The one-out walk. Have the Unicorns with the what would be game-winning run on base. Jimmy Latona now standing in 1 for 3 on the night. Latona with the RBI single in the first, drove in Guzman. Since then, the ground out to third and the fly out to left. He's been ahead of the baseball all night long as he's a pull hitter. We can tell early on throughout this season he loves to attack early and attack often, and sometimes it bodes well, sometimes it doesn't. But the risk being taken time in and time out from Latona so far this season, it's worked himself a .217 batting average coming into play today.
Well, and back in his college career, he had a .329 average, so constantly getting on base, but not a big power hitter, only 2 home runs. He had, I'm not seeing my RBIs here, 31 RBIs. So he drove in a few runs, but all too often in this situation, you see hitters try to do too much, try to hit one over the fence. Right now, if you're Latona with 1 out, just try to stay out of the double play. You got a nice big gap on the right field side there in between second and first, or try to split that gap at third and short and just get one into the outfield, or maybe even find a gap somewhere would be even better for him. But just get it in play.
Yeah, if he can get it in play, in a perfect world, he can hit it to the right side of the infield, like you mentioned, with that gap in between Cranek and Pollard. Not a lot of speed with Lolio over at first, but there you go once again. Latona out in front of the pitch, hits it foul down that left field line, and we'll do it again here with the 1-2.
Well, if I am Heldman, I'm going to stay with that off speed because he's ahead of it. You don't want to speed it up and let him get good contact on something. Stay with the off speed. Maybe one of these times you can get a swing and miss, get yourself a strikeout, 2 outs here.
Little break in the action here. There is a little stirring in the Unicorn bullpen. Looks to be number 23, Jesse Stinnett, the man out of not Madison Heights, Virginia, or not Madison Heights, Michigan, but Madison Heights, Virginia. And then on the 1-2 pitch, Latona swings and misses and is rung up on strikes for out number 2. Got to mention there is still action in the right field bullpen as well. Looks to be a left-hander up there. We're working on exactly who it is as we speak. If we look at the starting pitchers, or not starting pitchers, but pitching staff for this Birmingham Bloomfield team, there's only 3 lefties on the roster. It can't be Brandon Madden. He's already been in this one. It's either Ross Vance or Toriano Fuscardo. As this ball is hit shallow right field, it's going to be a tough run, but a nice job from Ryan Smith. He runs it down for the 3rd and final out. Unicorns get a base on balls from Nico Lolio, but nothing else in the home half of the 7th. We're headed to the 8th, all knotted up at 6. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call here with you. Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and Utica Unicorns all knotted up at 6 as we head to this 8th inning. Tyler Schwann's day is done as we get right in the action here. James Batley using his speed to his advantage. Has this man at third base, Brandon Larkin Guilfoyle, sleeping. And because of it, he gets the infield single via the bunt. And I'll tell you what, use your strengths to your advantage. Batley had been struggling all season long with the baseball bat, and if you can't get a base knock the hard way, might as well try it the creative way as he gets on via the infield single with that bunt.
Oh, it's a smart play right there, especially if you know you can put a decent bunt down. Like you said, caught Guilfoyle napping there at third base. He's got the speed, and it puts the winning run on first base right now and eliminates one of your bottom guys as a possible out. And helps turn over the order coming up.
So before we got to Batley's infield single, we were trying to talk about Jesse Stinnett's season thus far. He's coming off a victory May the 23rd against these same Beavers as Daniel Oliveri, meanwhile, hits a line drive down the left field line, motoring around second, getting into third with ease is Batley, and the man over there at second base, Daniel Oliveri, with a huge base knock. The double brings runners to second and third. That's his second hit of the night for Oliveri.
When I was watching Chris Newell there on third base, and as soon as that ball was hit down the line, he was waving Batley home. Waving him home, and then as soon as Batley got to third, he put the stop sign up and told him to hold up there at third base. And I think it was smart. Don't force it. We've already seen a couple of close plays at the plate. You have your top of your lineup coming up. You're out of double play situation and give your guys a chance to bring in some runs without costing yourself an out.
And another main thing, that big 0 up on the board, still no outs here for the Beavers. Last thing you want to do is get the first or third out at any of the scoring bags as Ryan Smith stands in here now. Back to the top of this Birmingham Bloomfield Beaver lineup we go. He looks at a breaking ball for called strike 1, but Jesse Stinnett on this season, he's in a jam right now, but like we mentioned, coming off of that victory, as that breaking ball misses the zone, evens the count up at 1-1. Back on May the 23rd in the win, he went just an inning, allowed 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout against the 7 batters he faced, but because his offense had came back, he ends up getting the victory the unconventional way. And through 4 games this season, as he misses the zone with ball 2 there, brings the count to 2-1. He's got 5.1 innings in 4 relief appearances, the 1-0 record like we mentioned. He's allowed 5 hits, 1 walk to 6 strikeouts, but he's in a jam here now. What would be the game-winning run is at third, and we might see 2 come in. In easily is Batley from third, and now coming in from second is Oliveri. The 2 RBI single for Ryan Smith give the Beavers the 8-6 lead. They've came all the way back.
Well, and that's what we talked about right there. You don't send the runner in Batley home. He stays at third, stays put, and you leave it up to your top of your order, and Ryan Smith delivers with a base hit right back up the middle and drives in 2.
RBI single gives the Beavers their 2-run lead. Jesse Stinnett now in line for the loss, and I'm seeing some action in the Birmingham Bloomfield bullpen, but no official throwing yet from anybody down the left field line for the Unicorns. A couple of guys stretching and getting loose, but no action just yet. Pending the result of this at-bat, you could see some stirring down there in the left field pen possibly.
We'll take a look at Jesse Stinnett, who's a 6'4", 225-pound right-hander from University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and he spent last year at Santa Fe Fuego in the Pecos League and some independent league ball. He was 2-0 with a 5.0 ERA in 2 starts, 18 innings pitched, 21 hits, 10 runs, all of them earned, 5 walks, and 13 strikeouts. So he should walk more than he's going to hit, but this one's driven deep back into right field. No doubter over the hill and right. It's a home run.
Rob Poller breaking this one open for the Beavers. He drives in 2. Ryan Smith comes in to score. Poller himself as well. That is the 2nd home run of the season for the big fella. And the Beavers have spread this one open. 5 runs between the 7th and 8th inning here, they have broken this one open. Now it's 10-6.
And if you would have told me at the start of this game, after the first 2 innings, that the Beavers would be up 10-6, I wouldn't even put my money on it. I thought the way the Unicorns were hitting and playing, that they were going to break this one wide open and blow out the Beavers. And how about that? Some timely pitching and hitting, and now they got a 4-run lead within really essentially 2 innings left.
And not only that, but the guy who hit the first home run of the game, Jack Cranek, now standing in, so he could make things even worse here for the Unicorns as he's swinging early at this at-bat. This ball looks like it's going to stay in play. It's going to be a tough effort from both the catcher and third baseman, and in fact, it'll get so far away that neither of them will be able to come up with it. We've talked about it on the broadcast throughout the season, haven't talked about it with you guys yet, but the layout of Jimmy John's Field, reminiscent of the Coliseum in Oakland, a lot of area in foul territory between the foul lines and the dugouts, so much room that routine pop flies can't even be got to with all that room out there. Cranek down in the count here, 0-1. Looks at a fastball that misses just high, evens the count up at 1-1. But with that big hit that Mr. Rob Poller had, I kind of want to segue that into other hits, not the conventional ones that go for base hits, but we saw last night a unique situation at Comerica Park, the Swan, or Geese, I should say, as Cranek chases after the third strike there for out number 1. 4 runs coming to score before an out is retired for Stinnett, but we saw a goose loose out on the diamond at Comerica Park last night. He was getting chased around by a bunch of personnel for the Tigers, and he eventually flew free, but he could only find a scoreboard that was lined up along the stands at Comerica Park as Christian Helsel stands in. And so did a little research today, thought we'd have a little fun as we get a break in the action here in this 8th inning, but saw an article from the Equinox staff at equinox.com, MLB players that have killed a bird during a game. Now, the bird last night ended up perfectly fine, got sent out into the wild freely after it was taken care of by the crew at Comerica Park as this 1-0 breaking ball finds the zone inside. But back to this bird story. So everybody knows the most famous one with Randy Johnson, of course, destroying any thoughts that a bird had to live when he had drilled him with a pitch in a live game. But some unfamiliar ones. The first bird that was killed in the game of baseball was actually all the way back in 1981 in a game between the Class A Northwest Division rivals Oregon and Medford as Helsel swings and misses at the 2-2 pitch. Back-to-back strikeouts for Stinnett after giving up 4 runs. But back to the bird story, the future MLB standout Eric Davis took a swing that ended a poor bird's life mid-flight. But the most interesting part of that entire occurrence, an outfielder made the catch on that exact same play. So Davis must have made contact with the ball, and then after he had hit the ball, he had killed the bird with the bat, and then the ball was caught in the outfield. Such a crazy scenario. And then another wild situation was actually involved with Dave Winfield, of course, the former New York Yankees stud. He threw a ball to one of his pinstripe counterparts when it struck an innocent seagull that was walking across the field, and according to a book called Diamonds in the Rough, a Toronto ball boy recovered the seagull with a cloth and carried it off the field. The seagull died later that day, and Winfield was actually arrested by Toronto police for cruelty to animals. To no surprise, the charges were dropped and the next day, but Winfield was actually thrown in handcuffs because of the incident. According to Toronto law, Winfield could have faced up to 6 months in jail. So just a little wild story and a couple different scenarios where birds were unlucky, but just some wild fun facts here at Jimmy John's Field. We got beavers, we got unicorns, we got bird talk, just plenty of animal conversation to go around. But how about that from Jesse Stinnett? Strikes out the side after giving up 4 runs in the 2-run homer to Rob Poller, but the Beavers with a massive 4-run inning coming into this 8th with a tie game. Now they're out in front by 4. We'll take a break as we head to the home half. Unicorns trying to get back in this one. They'll only have 2 more at-bats to do so. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on your call. It's Irish Heritage Night as you still hear the band playing in our background as we're getting ready to head to this home half of the 8th inning. Thought we'd bring it back a little early. Brian Heldman's night is done in relief. He goes an inning and 2/3, allows no runs, no hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. He is, in fact, in line for the victory, and he now gives way to Ross Vance, the man out of McKinney, Texas, in his 2nd season with the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Here in 2018, he's gone 5 games in relief, 4.1 innings. He does have an 0-1 record. He's allowed 4 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, and an 8.31 ERA, but a pretty cool story. Ross was with these Beavers in 2016. He went 1 game, 1 relief appearance, had an inning and a third under his belt, got the victory in it, had 2 strikeouts, and right on cue, he was the first player taken out of the USPBL to a Major League affiliate team. He was taken by the St. Louis Cardinals back in 2016. Numbers probably not as well as he would have liked. That's the reason why he's back here, but trying to get another opportunity is Vance, but he's down in the count here 2-0 to Dylan Sprague to begin this bottom of the 8th inning, and then that one almost gets a piece of Sprague as he has to dart out of the way.
Well, Rich, I actually have those numbers for you here. He 2 years in the MLB for the Cardinals organization, as you said. He played some rookie ball. He made it up to Double-A in 2017. He made some Single-A advanced, but he was 5-6 over his career in the minor leagues. 4.09 ERA, 54 appearances, 6 of them starts, 101 innings pitched, but he let up 112 hits, 55 runs, 46 of those were earned, 36 walks, and struck out 118.
So the numbers, I mean, not bad, not great, but either way, experience for Ross Vance at the next level, and manager Chris Newell out there to have a conversation. Your team was down this entire game leading into this 8th inning. Your offense puts up 4 runs in the top half, and you come back out in a what you want to be shutdown inning, and Ross Vance walks the first batter on 4 straight pitches. Got to imagine Chris Newell out there. I've been in that situation as a relief pitcher, and I'll tell you what, whoever comes out to that mound probably doesn't have something nice to say, and Vance has to quickly turn the page if he's going to want to get out of this one in the 8th inning. As another arm out there getting ready for the Beavers in the bullpen. It is number 24, Jonathan Escobar, out of Inverness, Illinois.
Well, we look at his minor league numbers, and Vance, honestly, his strikeout to walk ratio was incredible. I mean, 118 strikeouts to just 36 walks. So that's
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's not what the issue was. It was more the 112 hits and the 55 runs he let up.
And, well, that's the thing. When you are an accurate pitcher, the scouting in the level of minor league baseball clearly well, and if a team knows you're a guy that throws a lot of strikes, they're going to be aggressive, and that's probably the reason why Vance allowed so many hits and runs. But
well, you gotta have those secondary pitches, and if you don't have those secondary pitches, you're going to get hit around the ballpark, and that's obviously what happened to Vance, and now that he's down here trying to work his way back up in there.
You're exactly right about that. Vance down in the count here, though, against Erlinson, and that one misses the zone completely. So back-to-back walks. Got to imagine that leash is pretty short for Vance, as the man in the bullpen is, in fact, ready.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I don't think that Chris Newell is going to mess around too much with a 4-run lead into the top of the order coming up. And Spencer Ibarra, I mean, you can't put him anywhere. You're going to load the bases. And a guy that's 3 for 4, got to pitch to him. And he's provided some pop. He's provided some support for the team, driving in 2 of their 6 runs. And he's hoping to do a little bit more than that here with a runner on first and second as he watches strike one come right down the middle, 0-1.
So Ibarra on the night, the home run, the 2 singles, the fly out to right. He's been tough to hold back, and he's got an opportunity here to put the Unicorns within reaching distance of the Beavers. And another breaking ball thrown from Vance. It misses the zone, evens the count up at 1-1, and now his catcher, Adam Gauthier, out to have a conversation. Not sure if it's about the control or maybe it's a strategy conversation, as there is the runner on second base, of course, with Dylan Sprague, trying to mix up the count, the signing, that is. And the slider on the outside corner looked like it might have broke off the plate, but home plate umpire Stuart Hall ringing it up for a strike. Ibarra down in the count here, 1-2.
Vance pitching Ibarra away, but and that's part in fact because Ibarra, you know, you're looking right now with runners on, you're trying to stay out of the double play. That's the biggest factor right now, but you have that gap once again on the first base side between the second baseman and the first baseman, where they're worrying about holding runners on with the lefty in the box. And that's driven deep into left center. That's going to get down and bounce up against the wall. It's going to stay in play. That'll score at least 1 run. Ibarra into second. Here comes the second run. Throw's not going to be in time, and it's a 2-run double for Spencer Ibarra, and his night continues. Go ahead. 3 for 4 with now 4 RBIs.
It's unbelievable the night that Spencer Ibarra has had at the plate. He's been seeing the ball tremendously well. The 2 RBI double put the Unicorns within 2, and I mean, this game has been back and forth all night long, and if you're Ross Vance, back-to-back walks and a 2 RBI double, it's a tough night for the left-hander, and he'll hand the baseball off to his manager, Chris Newell, and that'll give way to the right-hander coming in. We'll take a quick break, give you Vance's line, and then let you know the man that's coming in to pitch here in this tough situation for the Beavers. No outs, man on base. We'll be right back. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here in this home half of the 8th inning. Ross Vance with a night to forget. He cannot get through any batters, allows 2 walks, and then gives up a 2 RBI double to Spencer Ibarra, who's had a 4-hit night, 2 singles, a double, and a home run to his credit. Before we get into the new pitcher, Jonathan Escobar, with Ibarra's night, I kind of want to give credit to a player in the Tigers organization, Mr. Ron Rodriguez. His last game with the Toledo Mud Hens, kind of like a night with Spencer Ibarra, but a little better. 2 home runs and the cycle in his last game with the Toledo Mud Hens. Gets the call up to the Tigers. And, yeah.
Heard he got his first career hit today, too. A little infield single.
It's good stuff. I mean,
little spark these injured Tigers need.
Yeah, definitely. And how about the way to finish off the minor league career? I mean, he'll probably go back, but to get the call up to the pros after a night like that, I mean, you can't write it anymore.
Well, and you have to wonder a little bit in Ron Gardenhire's mind if that made a little, they might have been thinking about it, but they saw that night and like, oh, for sure you're coming up. We need you.
Exactly. And back into the USPBL action, Jonathan Escobar, the right-hander out of Inverness, Illinois, the College of the Holy Cross pitcher. He's got 5 relief appearances, 4.2 innings under his belt, a 2-0 record with just 3 hits allowed in those 4 2/3 innings, just the 1 walk and the 8 strikeouts, and a 0.00 ERA. This guy has had really nice stuff so far this year, and clearly a reason he's in this almost save-like situation.
Well, for what I could dig up from his Holy Cross career, back in 2016, his junior year, he had a 2.08 ERA. He was 1-1 with 2 saves in 19 appearances. He pitched 26 innings and threw 35 strikeouts. So pretty good statistics all around the board.
Yeah, this guy clearly has the stuff. The question is, can it build? Can it get better? And can his stuff eventually make it to the next level? Keeping tabs on Jonathan Escobar as we go throughout this 2018 season. Meanwhile, Adrian Guzman, who's looked at, I believe, every pitch here in this at-bat, has worked the count full, trying to get a hold of exactly what Jonathan Escobar has to bring.
Well, the real thing to watch with Escobar tonight is how fast is he going to get through this lineup of the Unicorns. If he can get through it on not too many pitches, we might see him try to go for a 6-out finish here. And there's a strikeout right there.
Right on cue, the swing and the miss. Retire Adrian Guzman. That's the back-to-back strikeouts for him. And now Dan Ward will stand in, who's 1 for 4 on the night.
And I'm sure Chris Newell would love to have a 6-out save right here. Save as many pitchers as he can for the rest of the weekend. You got a dangerous hitter coming up here in Dan Ward.
And, you make a really valid point there, Dom. The Beavers with 3 games here this weekend, not only tonight, not only tomorrow, but Sunday as well. They'll face off against the Mammoths. Tomorrow night is a part of our Xfinity Fireworks Friday Spectacular as Escobar throws in a strike called to Dan Ward down the heart of the plate. Saturday, West Side versus East Side, WCSX Classic Rock Saturday. It'll be the Bob Seger Tribute Band at the ballpark. And then rounding out the fun on Sunday, of course, with Sunday Fun Day with our superheroes, it'll be the Unicorns and Beavers in a rematch from tonight's game. It's a fun weekend on tap. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, I suggest you do. Give us a call, 248-601-2400. If you'd like to have a conversation with me, my extension is 141. But back to our action. Dan Ward swinging and missing on the 0-1 offer. He's quickly down in the count here, 0-2. And Jonathan Escobar trying to get back-to-back strikeouts after relieving Ross Vance of a tough start to this home half of the 8th.
Well, I would say Dan Ward's last swing was looking like he wanted to deposit the baseball into the seats, but there's no seats out there, so we'll say like the river, I guess. I don't know.
Instead, the fastball outside corner freezes Ward completely. He looked as if he was looking for something of the off-speed variety, and back-to-back strikeouts for Jonathan Escobar have stranded this runner at second base. Ibarra is trying to come in to score. tying run at the plate in Brandon Larkin-Guilfoyle with 2 outs. And if you're Escobar, you're going to try and retire Larkin-Guilfoyle, who on the night does have an RBI single, but a strikeout looking and 2 groundouts to the right side of the infield. Better than Nico Lolio, who's got 2 groundouts but does have 2 walks on the night as well. Could pick your poison, but clearly more power from the man in the on-deck circle. And not only if you let Nico Lolio bat, that means the tying run will be on base. So you definitely want to go after Larkin-Guilfoyle here if you're Escobar.
Well, and that's what we were talking about, too. If you're Escobar here, you know, he had about 9 pitches through his first 2 batters. So you want to get Guilfoyle here, one, to keep your pitch count down, but you want to get him quickly. You want to attack the hitter, keep your pitch count down. And Chris Newell, I'm sure, would be more than happy to throw you back out there. Especially, I mean, if he strikes out Guilfoyle here, that's 3 strikeouts coming out of the pen. Newell's got to feel pretty confident sending back him out there for the 9th.
There is one lone soldier out in the right field bullpen for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Not sure exactly who it is just yet, but as soon as we find a number out there, we will let you know who it is. Meanwhile, the count 1-1 on Larkin-Guilfoyle. Jonathan Escobar trying to retire the side in 3 straight strikeouts after Ross Vance allowed 2 walks and a 2 RBI double to Spencer Ibarra. Since then, Guzman and Ward have gone down, one via the swing, one via the look. Larkin-Guilfoyle's worked the count in his favor here, 2-1. Catcher relaying signs to his man on the bump. Escobar, the kick, the deal, the push, ground ball right side. Will it be the 3rd time tonight that Guilfoyle grounds out to the second baseman? It will. Beavers get out of the jam unscathed, but the Unicorns do get 2 runs and cut the lead in half. It's a 10-8 ball game as we have 1 frame to go. We'll let you know if we see a new arm on the mound for the Unicorns as we head to the 9th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the ninth we go. It'll be Mercado, Wood, and Batley due up for the Beavers. They lead it 10-8 as we head to this final frame. Jesse Stinnett's night is done, and what a weird line it was. Stinnett had started off the 8th inning against James Batley, who singled. Then Daniel Oliveri reached on a double. Then Ryan Smith had an RBI single, and then Rob Pollard with a 2-run home run. You would think after all that time that Stinnett would be taken out of the game, but manager Jim Essien allows to keep him in, and he goes through the 3, 4, 5 batters, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Just something you don't see every day. The 1 inning, 4 earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Meanwhile, Mercado, who's gone down in this count here early 0-2, fouls off the 0-2 pitch, and got to mention the man on the mound here now for the Unicorns in this 9th inning, Mr. Chris Dula.
Well, and one thing I want to mention before we get there is Stennett. We talked about him. You know, we talked earlier about how you have to have a short-term memory, and man, was that ever short. He put that home run right behind him, went right after the 3, 4, 5 hitters, struck him out in order, and retired the Beavers and got his team at least held for the moment to a 4-run deficit, which they got to a 2-run deficit. And now we look at Chris Dula, who's 6'2", 215, now has a strikeout.
And who can bring it. Dula, one of the fastest arms in this league, and first guy he sees in Mercado swings and misses right through it. Second strikeout of the night for Mercado, but not a bad day at the plate. 2 singles, a run scored, and a walk to his credit as well. And now my man's Mr. Hunter Wood standing in, a double, 2 singles, and a strikeout. We were talking about our matchup. Your boy Erlinson did walk and score in the 8th, so 2 runs scored, 1 hit for Erlinson. Wood with a double, 2 singles, 2 RBIs, no runs scored. I got to give the edge. No favoritism. I'm not trying to.
No, I agree.
I would give the edge right now to Wood. Maybe if he strikes out here and Erlinson gets one more opportunity in the 9th, it could change. But
he did have a bad base running mistake, though.
That he did. We'll keep that in mind as we finish up this baseball game. But
I mean, essentially, he actually kind of, some way, grounded into a double play. So,
oh, too funny. But Wood even in the count here, 1-1, fastball missing, high and away, nowhere near the zone. Count 2-1 on the DH here tonight. The man out of Mount Washington, Kentucky, trying to keep the Beavers going in this top of the 9th inning. They're up by 2, 10-8. They got 1 run in the 7th, 4 in the 8th. And on the 2-1 pitch, Wood looks at a fastball right down Broadway, brings the count even at 2-2.
We'll take a look at Chris Dula's statistics before coming to the USPBL real quick. He spent 4 years in the minor leagues between 2013 and 2016, between rookie ball, single A, the 3 different types of single A short, full season, and advanced. Kind of switched back and forth between the Rangers and Indians organizations, but his career statistics were 2-2. He had a 5.3 ERA in 70 games. 2 saves, 82 innings pitched, 76 hits, 68 runs.
And there's your strikeout to Wood. So Hunter Wood goes down via the swing and the miss. Second strikeout of the day. So I guess we'll wait to mark the battle final between you and I, between Wood and then Erlinson, pending what Erlinson can do if he does, in fact, get another opportunity at the plate in the home half of the 9th. But back-to-back strikeouts for Dula. He's looking sharp out there, and not only is he trying his best, but if the Unicorns can somehow put together 3 runs, he'd be in line for the win as well.
Well, not only that, he also had 84 strikeouts in his minor league career, so we've already seen it here. He can deal it. He can bring some heat, and he can strike some guys out. And right now his job is just to keep it at a 10-8 game, and hopefully his team can pick him up in the bottom of the 9th and get him this win.
Look at that heat from Dula. 96 on the gun from the right-hander. Swung on and missed from Batley. There was not much he could do with that.
I love the crowd's reaction to that one. We got some ooze in the crowd from that pitch. You could hear the pop in the glove on that one. He delivers on that one, too. 95.
And it also had some movement on it, too. It's just, Dula's one of those guys in this league. He doesn't throw a lot of balls. He's got a lot of heat underneath it. And Batley does make contact on this one. Another opportunity. Look at that man, Carter Grote, laying out for the third and final out. Seen a lot of nice web gems on the ball diamond in that outfield grass here tonight. Carter Grote with his second one of the contest. Fly out to left field, retires the Beavers in the top of the ninth. Unicorns coming up to the plate. It'll be Lolio, Latona, Grote, the 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Unicorns in their last try as they trail 2 as we go to the home half of the ninth. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Dom Santina on the call. It's been a fun one. It's been a long one. Beavers out in front 10-8 as Nico Lolio stands in for the Unicorns to begin this final opportunity. Lolio on the night, 2 walks, 2 groundouts. Looks at a called strike to begin his final plate appearance of the night. Jonathan Escobar, who had pitched a 1-2-3 relief appearance for Ross Vance in the 8th inning. Vance had given up 2 walks and then a 2 RBI double to the Unicorns. And then Escobar came in, struck out 2, got a ground out, and he's trying to finish off this 2-inning save. Lolio on the 0-1 pitch. If he made contact, it would have went a long ways, but unfortunately for the Unicorns, all he could do was give a nice breeze to the infielders for the Beavers, and now the count is quickly 0-2.
And like we've said it, once again, I mean, Nico is one of your, power hitters, you could say, and he is trying to help the team out, but honestly what the team needs more right now is just a runner on. Get a base hit, put it in play. This one's in play.
It will be a tough play for the shortstop, Mercado. Not a lot of speed going down the line as Lolio. That nubber up the middle makes it tough for Mercado, but he ends up getting the job done, and the leadoff batter for the Unicorns cannot reach base safely. 1 up, 1 down.
So I added it up. I'm going to double check my win count here. Yeah, that's right. I counted up runners left on, right? Unicorns have left 7 on. Beavers have left 6 on in this game. 3 of those 6 for the Beavers came in the first 2 innings.
Yep, you are correct about that. And not only that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them all in the first 5 innings.
Yeah.
As well.
So that tells you, we look at the scoreboard. That's when they started coming alive.
Unicorns with 5 runs in the first 2 innings. Beavers with 5 runs in between the 3rd and the 5th, and then they've tacked on 4 more in the top of the 8th, the Beavers have, and that's where we stand as of right now. It's 10-8 with 1 out here in the home half of the 9th inning. Jimmy Latona on the night had the RBI single in the first, but since then 0 for 3, a ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout. And now on the 1-1 pitch, fouls it off, it goes out of play, and could tell Latona not happy with himself, reacted a little late to that pitch, and because of it, he can't get on base safely just yet. He'll have to protect now down in the count with 2 strikes.
So I wanted to add this in because I wrote it down, but we have the flight scope, which analyzes the hits and stuff. They did Cranek's home run. The pitch speed was 90.9 coming in. The exit velocity was 107.9 miles per hour.
Wow.
And he hit it 371 feet and 11 inches. He
no
crushed it.
That's no gimme.
He crushed it.
It went over the hill in right field into the black sky abyss, and now Jonathan Escobar with an opportunity to get a strikeout here for out number 2, but not if Latona has anything to say about it. The fastball high and away at 90 miles an hour. Can't get Latona to chase. The man out of Rochester, New York, trying to give the Unicorns what you said they needed, and that is a base runner. Man on deck, Carter Grote, 0 for 4 on the night. And look at that. There is your base runner, Jimmy Latona, with an incredible at-bat, works the count full, and gets on to first base safely with a base knock back up the middle. And now Carter Grote standing in, who is most due on this team. And now that I'm looking at the score sheet here, every single Unicorn has reached base safely except for Carter Grote. Carter Grote and Nico Lolio are, in fact, the only 2, as I continue to search, I take that back. 2 out of the 3. Lolio, Guzman, and now Grote, the only 3 without a hit. Carter Grote, the only Unicorn to not reach base safely here tonight. So if anybody's due, it's him.
Well, but if you're the Beavers, the one thing you're hoping for right now is a double play. And a nice curveball in there to make it 0-2.
It will be tough to try and retire Grote over there at first with a double play. He'll have to hit the ball pretty hard, but definitely a good opportunity. He just put every ball in the air, though. That one put in the air as well, but it'll find the grass. Back-to-back base hits give the Unicorns tying run at first and the winning run at the plate. Dylan Sprague coming up in a clutch situation. So runners at first and second, 1 out on the board. Winning run at the plate. Dylan Sprague coming into play today with a batting average below 1, but he's reached base safely 3 times. A single and a run scored in the second, an error that he reached on in the 5th, and then a base on balls in the 8th inning where he came in to score as well. And that pitch right down the heart of the plate for a called strike. If I'm Dylan Sprague, I'm probably wishing I had that one back.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're Escobar, this 9th has not gone according to plan. You came in the 8th, strikeout, and a ground out to the second baseman. Here in the 9th, ground out to the shortstop, and then a hit and a hit. And you're hoping your best option might be right here for Sprague to ground into a double play. He's been struggling. I mean, you got Erlinson underneath, and then you go to the top of the order. So, I mean, personally, I'd like to see Erlinson so I can get a chance at this pick the stick thing. But
yeah, Sprague did ground out to second base back in the 3rd inning, and pretty much all of the contact that he's made tonight has been on the ground or close to it as far as the infield goes. But swinging and missing on the high heat was Sprague. Nice job there from Escobar to not leave that pitch too far out over the plate. That fastball gets Sprague to chase after it for the 2nd out here in the 9th. And just like that, the Unicorns down to their final out. And, of course, your pick the stick candidate, Mr. Justin Erlinson. I'll tell you right now, he could definitely be the winner pending the result of this at-bat. We're not going to say anything just yet. but we'll let the story play its course. On the night, 1 for 3 with a single, 2 flyouts to center, and a base on balls. To his credit, that was in his last at-bat where he had scored the 8th run of the game for the Unicorns, but trying to at least keep them alive here in this 9th is Erlinson. Pressure's on.
Oh, for sure. Without a doubt. You got to get something in play here. You can't go down swinging. You at least got to make an attempt to, have the defense make a mistake or, beat one out or something.
Got to make him earn it, as Escobar tried to force Erlinson to earn that one. The breaking ball that dropped into the dirt. Erlinson patient at the plate. A good job to lay off of that one in a really crucial situation.
One thing we haven't mentioned is if Erlinson does get on base here, it brings up Spencer Ibarra.
That is a very important fact. I didn't even think about that yet because we're just trying to focus on Erlinson for the time being, but you are exactly right. The man with 4 hits tonight, 2 singles, a home run, and a double, looming on deck. This is a critical situation for Escobar and the Beavers. You want to retire Erlinson more than anything right here. 2-1. Fastball looked like it was over the plate.
I think it was
a
little low.
A little bit low. You're exactly
low.
Right about that, Dom. And now the count 3-1 here on Erlinson. I'll tell you what, he's not going to earn the pick to stick if he gets the base on balls, but the Unicorns definitely in a much better position than where they were at coming into these last couple of innings.
All I got to say is since I've said that about Ibarra, the room's got a little tighter in here.
No doubt about that. And now Erlinson swings and misses through the next pitch, so runners will be on the move here on first movement from Escobar. Erlinson has to make one simple decision to either let the pitch go by or go after it. The toughest part about baseball, you only got a fraction of a second to figure out that. You really can't ask for much more. Full count, 2 outs, 2 runners on, tying run at first, winning run at the plate. And a great job of Escobar. I wanted to mention that before we got to this pitch. With the runners on the bases and a full count, 2 outs, I was wondering if Escobar was going to try and keep tabs on these runners by doing what he just did, bringing up that front foot, and then going to second base with it to make sure both runners were on their toes and not going until he went home with it. He now goes home with it and ends the ball game. A couple of fist pumps and a loud scream gets this one done for the Beavers, and they will win this one by a final of 10-8. We saw a little bit of everything in this ball game. A couple of tough starts from both Siler and Gio Abreu, but in the end, the Beavers come back to win this one by a final of 10-8. Dominic, you did a great job on the call tonight. Any final thoughts here in this one from your first broadcast here with the USPBL?
It was an exciting night. Definitely wasn't a boring one. We had a lot of good pitching performances, and Spencer Ibarra, we cannot forget about him after that night. Even though it was in a losing effort, going, 4 for 5? 4 RBIs, a homer, a double, a couple singles. That's incredible.
Yeah, the night we saw from Spencer Ibarra was tremendous. He had the home run in the first, the couple of singles in the second and the fourth, and then that 2 RBI double in the 8th that at least gave the Unicorns some sense of urgency late in this game after giving up the lead late. It was very deflating from a Unicorn standpoint to see them give up the lead that they had throughout the entire first half of the game. But the Beavers, how about this? We didn't talk about it since really the first couple of innings, but the Beavers, who started out the season 3-0, are now done with their 5-game losing streak. They were in a tough spot, 3-5 coming into play tonight, but on that 5-game losing streak, Chris Newell's team fought very hard and very long here tonight as we're passing the 10:30 hour mark here on the clock. But overall, you got to love the resiliency from the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers in a tough spot. You know that they got a long weekend ahead of them, and they started off on the right foot. Would have been tough to go on your 6th straight game loss, and by a game like this, just kind of saw a little bit of everything. But in the end, it'll be Brian Heldman with the victory. He went an inning and 2/3, allowed no runs, no hits, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. And I guess that'll do it.
I think you have to say, for the most part, most of the Beavers bullpen did a heck of a job coming in and slamming the door. And, I said Chris Newell was looking for that, and look what happened. He got some help out of the bullpen, and after Siler was struggling a little bit, and it hung on to give him a win.
Yeah, for a game that went back and forth, we saw Vance struggle late in the game. He allowed those 2 walks and then the 2 RBI double off of Ibarra that brought the Unicorns back in this game. But in the end, Jonathan Escobar with the 2-inning save ends up doing his job a little bit more than here tonight, and he earns the save. And I guess that will do it for Dominic Santina, Brandon Rothenberg up here in the booth with us. It was a fun night. Tomorrow night we will have first pitch, 7:05 once again. It will be the 1st of June, as it is once again these Beavers. They'll face off against the West Side Woolly Mammoths in our Xfinity Fireworks Friday Spectacular. And it's also Meet the Woolly Mammoths night at the ballpark, where they'll be signing autographs, interacting with fans on the concourse for about an hour before the game. But once again, for the guys up here in the booth with me, my name's Rich Borland. You stay classy, Utica.